podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and this is my Tech Guy podcast. This show originally aired on the Premier Network on Saturday, February 13th, 2021. This is episode 1770. Enjoy. The Tech Guy podcast is brought to you by Linode. Simplify your cloud infrastructure and cut your cloud bills in half. Get started on Linode today with a $100 free credit. Text TWiT to 474747 or visit Linode, Linode, linode.com/techguy and click on the Create Free Account button to get started. And by Gabby Insurance. You're probably overpaying on car and home insurance. See how much Gabby can save you. They saved us almost $2,000. It's totally free to check, and there's no obligation. Go to gabby.com/techguy. And by IT Pro TV. Get a new career in IT with the best IT education around. Visit itpro.tv/twit for an additional 30% off all consumer subscriptions for the lifetime of your active subscription. Use the code TWIT30 at checkout. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the Tech Guy. Time to say hello to our little computer friends. This is the show where we talk about, computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smart watches, all that jazz. 8888 Ask Leo. That's my phone number if you want to talk about tech. Tech. It's easy. Tech. You know what that is. We know what that is. Or do we? I mean, everything's tech, isn't it? Everything is tech. So what's high tech? I don't know. I mean, it's hard to know these days, isn't it? It's hard to know. 8888 Ask Leo. It's whatever you say it is. Anything with a chip in it. How about that? Website where we talk about everything going on in the world. Everything that happens on the show is techguylabs.com, techguylabs.com. And that's free. There's no sign up. There's nothing, it's just wander on in. There's a search there. You can see, all the notes from today's show and all previous shows, all 1,770 shows in total. James DeRuvo of how many years have you been doing this, James? Maybe for the last decade. He's been writing everything down and putting it up on techguylabs.com, our scribe. We also put audio and video from the show after the fact. So if you miss the show, you can always catch up. Also, if you want to say, what did Leo say really? Because it sounded wrong to me, and you could play it back and listen and then go, oh, yeah, he did say that. And then add your comments. That's an important thing, too. Emergency fix for Windows, KB500128. They call it an out-of-band update. Normally only Windows patches come out on the second Tuesday of the month. Here we are, halfway through the month, day before Valentine's Day, and already an emergency fix. You might want this if you have been getting the blue screen of death every time you connect to a Wi-Fi network. Actually, the new WPA3 Wi-Fi networks. So probably a lot of people aren't experiencing this. WPA is the encryption on your Wi-Fi that keeps other people from seeing what you're doing. You should have that turned on. The old one was WEP, but that was broken very, very early on. So that got replaced with WPA. Then there was WPA1 and then WPA2. But WPA2 got hacked or cracked. Not an easy crack, but still a crack. So Wi-Fi access points and so forth are upgrading now to WPA3. Not enough of them out there, and that's probably why Microsoft missed this bug. But when you attempt to connect to a WPA3 Wi-Fi network, and they do exist, you will get a blue screen of death crash. Ooh, a stop error 0x7e in the nwifi.sys with a blue screen. You're more likely to encounter it when reconnecting to Wi-Fi after disconnecting or upon waking for sleep or hibernation. Most Wi-Fi networks still on WPA2, so that's probably why a lot of people haven't seen this. Anyway, just thought I'd mention that. In case you've been getting that blue screen of death, there is a patch. And if you're, on Windows, you're getting the patch and perhaps you're wondering why. Now you know. Everybody does this. Apple does it. Everybody does this. These things happen. I love the story of Aaron Epstein, or is it Epstein, Aaron? I don't know. He's in North Hollywood, and he was very disappointed with his internet access. AT&T only was giving him something like 3 megabits down, which is not unusual when you have a DSL network. He called and called. He finally ended up getting Spectrum cable internet, but he wanted AT&T to do right by him. So what did he do? He took out an ad in the Wall Street Journal for $10,000. A quarter-page ad in the Wall Street Journal, paid advertisement, open letter to Mr. John T. Stanky, CEO AT&T. Dear Mr. Stanky, AT&T prides itself as a leader in electronic communications. Unfortunately for the people who live in North Hollywood, California, 91607, AT&T is now a major disappointment. You go, Aaron. He's 90 years old, by the way. I think this is the case, that you get spicier as you get older. I think that's the case. I notice I'm getting a little spicier in my old age. Many of our neighbors are creative technical workers at Universal, Warner Brothers, Disney, in the adjacent city of Burbank. We need to keep up with technology. And AT&T, we're looking to AT&T to supply us with fast internet service. They're advertising speeds up to 100 megabits for other neighborhoods. The fastest now available to us from AT&T is only 3 megabits. That you can't do anything. You can't watch Netflix. It's hard to surf even at 3 megabits. You can get email. And if you're patient, you can surf the internet. Your competitors now have speeds over 200 megabits. Why is AT&T, a leading communications company, treating us so shabbily in North Hollywood? Aaron M. Epstein, an AT&T customer since 1960. And you know he is because his email address is at pacbell.net, which is at least 20 years old and hasn't been Pacific Bell in a long, long time. $10,000 he paid for that ad. Good on you, Mr. Epstein. Good on you. Of course, AT&T responded. It's never good to see your CEO's name in the Wall Street Journal, even if it's just an ad. It's never good. And in fact, they called him that day. They upgraded his internet almost right away. They said, yeah, we got the whole neighborhood. They didn't. They still don't. Because you know what? It's expensive wiring neighborhoods for fiber. You got to trench out. They said, we've got the fiber out to the neighborhood, but not to the houses. It's expensive. And even Mr. Epstein said, yeah, they said it was going to cost a lot to do this, but they did it. The AT&T people I talked to tell me they had to install extra wiring. It's costing them thousands and thousands of dollars. Oh, AT&T, thousands and thousands of dollars. Oh, what did AT&T make this year? $171 billion in revenue in 2020. It's costing us thousands. What is it? And Mr. Epstein, I know you're old enough to remember this. What is this that Ernestine, the telephone operator, used to say on Laughing? We're the phone company. We don't care. We don't have to. I'm sure Mr. Epstein's neighbors are waiting with anxiously. Epstein still has his Spectrum. He says, according to the Wall Street Journal. No, I'm sorry. This is Ars Technica, an Ars Technica article. He says, Charter got in touch after the hubbub last week to provide him with a better modem. Don't take out an ad against us, please. When AT&T installed fiber, Epstein had the AT&T technicians set things up so he can easily switch back and forth between AT&T and Spectrum to compare them. Maybe if a month from now, if I'm satisfied using AT&T only, I'll drop Spectrum. I love it. It is a constant source of annoyance that here we are in the country where the internet was invented, perfected, first widely used, that we still kind of have among the worst internet access in the world at the highest prices, by the way. And, I think some of that, to be really scrupulously fair, some of that is because we have we've been doing it for so long. A lot of times when you have an entrenched, long time existing infrastructure, it's hard to do the big upgrade. We have, cell system terrible. We were the last country probably in the world to do SMS messaging because we had all these different systems. That's what happens. And we have a lot of different systems. But I think you can blame the FCC and these big telecoms because they've kind of colluded to give themselves essentially monopolies in every district. Mr. Epstein only has two choices, the phone company and the cable company. That might change soon. Competition is what keeps prices down, what keeps innovation up. And, historically, these companies have eliminated competition, getting the federal government to say, no competition allowed here. You own it. It's a monopoly, regional monopoly. But that was with landlines, terrestrial service. Now, Elon Musk has SpaceLink going up. They've started to take pre-orders. Now, it's not going to be cheap, $90 a month, but you can't, the satellites, you can't stop them. So maybe a little competition, that would be good. We started to see AT&T and Verizon roll out fiber at lower costs when Google got into the mix, but Google quickly realized it was not a good business and got out of it. That's when Verizon said, yeah, we're not going to do it either. The problem is the ads don't necessarily meet the reality. And I understand Mr. Epstein's expectations. Good for you. Thank you, Aaron, for doing that for all of us. We'll get to your calls in just a sec. 8888 Ask Leo. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, with our smooth operator, Kim Schaffer. Hello, Kim Schaffer.
Good morning.
Got to give props to Professor Laura, our musical director, because she's managed now for something like 4 or 5 weeks in a row to find a new song about phones.
She's doing a great job.
Every week. That's amazing. Every show.
Yeah,
twice
every
a week.
show, something a little bit different.
Happy Valentine's Day before, Valentine's Day Eve.
Okay.
I'm not going to ask. None of my business. None of my business.
Care.
I don't care, she says. I'll bring you a little Valentine.
Oh, okay.
Remember you in school that everybody would do the Valentine. Do they do that now, or do they?
In school?
Yeah.
Nobody's in school.
Oh man, they don't do it, do they?
Are they doing it virtually? Probably yes.
Put little hearts
Maybe
and
they'll
flowers
put on heart
Zoom.
filters.
Yeah.
Maybe not cat filter, but
That's sad. That's sad.
It is sad. Everything's sad. We're missing out on a lot.
Everything.
Those kids.
It's almost
kids
over. It's
Oh,
almost
yeah.
over. It's almost over. Who should I talk to?
Let's go to Brian in Bryan, College Station, Texas. I think he chose to live there because of that name.
In Bryant. So there's the difference. But that's
he
okay.
said
well, let me ask him.
I thought he said
Hi, Brian.
Hello, Leo.
College Station is Bryant, right?
No T. Just Brian with a Y.
Really?
Brian with an I.
Brian with a Y, no T. Oh, okay.
Yeah, home of Texas A&M University.
I know it is. Go Aggies.
There you go.
So I'm not going to do the hook'em horns. That's those other guys, or is it? I can never remember.
No, you're right. There you go. I like that.
What can I do for you, Brian and Bryant?
Well, I've got a Dell XPS L511Z. It's an older laptop, and recently got it going again. I had the Windows update to 20H2, but then there was another, wasn't a feature update, but it was just the last update. And then it was did the restart and would not start. Yeah, so I went through and deleted or uninstalled. You know how you can turn it off, turn it on.
Yeah, the hot fix.
You get into that. Well, I got into there. I uninstalled the feature update and everything else, and then finally decided to check. And the boot order was changed to the USB drive as opposed to the drive. But
That's incredibly frustrating.
Well, I don't dare do any more updates because I don't want it, because I had to reinstall everything.
Oh.
Not the Windows, but any programs I had on there, like Photoshop and Lightroom.
What, really? You had to reinstall your apps. That's bizarre.
Yeah, I know.
That sounds like it moved where the Windows directory is stored. That's not good. Yeah, because the apps install stuff in the Windows directory, like DLLs. And if you move Windows around, the apps, even though they're still in the same place, they may not be able to run. That's weird. I don't think that that's normal behavior. So, and I understand your reluctance to update again.
Yeah.
For me, the upshot of this kind of thing is I won't use Windows. I just really try to stay away from Windows. But that seems like a overreaction, perhaps. That's just me.
Yeah.
I'll make the argument that it's important to update Windows because every time you get one of those, and this is the reason Microsoft's kind of messed things up. It used to be, that you could be pretty sure when you were getting an update that was important for security. Now they do these weird feature updates. Probably that last update that screwed things up didn't have anything to do with security patches. The cumulative updates do. The Patch Tuesday updates do. The feature updates do not. I would suggest what you do is you look, when you do the Windows update, there are some optional and then there are some critical updates. And I would what you could do is only do the critical updates. Those are security updates.
Yeah, I don't mess with the optional ones because they can create more problems than what you need. So
yeah, no, I agree with you. In there, I'll say something in their defense. It's a hard thing to do to update an operating system, especially a big update, while it's running. That's a challenge. And so sometimes things go wrong. It is not, and remember, they have 1 billion users, so it's not, even if a teeny weeny percentage of people have problems, that's still thousands of people, and you unfortunately got swept up in that thousands. Generally speaking, they've been pretty good lately. I don't know what to say. It's important to do it.
Yeah.
And I understand your reluctance.
Yeah. This was the first issue I've ever had from an update.
Yeah. So most of the time it's fine, right? And same thing for me. I update, and I make an effort to always do the latest updates for that security reasons, and I haven't had any problems. But when you do, it's like, well, curses. All I can say is I'm sympathetic. That's why I use Linux. I had to throw that in. That's why I use Linux. I don't know what the fix is except to do the critical updates and nothing more, I guess.
Yeah.
What they'll do is they'll make you do, eventually they'll make you do a feature update. They'll say, 1909 is being phased out now. So you have to have, 2004 if you want support. It's really frustrating. Or is it 1803 that's being phased out? I can't remember, but yeah, it's very frustrating. That's the other thing somebody in the chat room was reminding me. Don't be a seeker. In other words, don't run Windows Update. Let it do its thing because they try not to update you if they think there's any chance of a problem.
Yeah, I wait for it. Well, this one, they popped up after I was getting it going, and it was one of those ones that just, okay, here's your next update. So, but I do have one other question about that. And it's got an old spin-up hard drive, and I ordered a SSD for it. And I've heard you talk about this was a Windows 7 machine upgraded to Windows 10.
Yeah.
And you said I can get a fresh copy of Windows 10 from their software with my software key?
You don't need a software key anymore. Once you're authorized for use on Windows 10, which you are, you've upgraded, Microsoft keeps track of that and no longer asks for a key. So when you get the media creation tool from Microsoft.com and create a USB key with the latest Windows 10, which will be 20H2 on it.
Right.
And when you get the new SSD in there, just run that to install Windows 10 20H2. You'll probably, some of the issues might be because you've been upgrading on top of Windows 7 all this time. It might be more reliable if you have a clean install of Windows 10 20H2.
Right.
And then it'll authenticate because Microsoft says, oh, yeah. I've seen Brian before. We know this computer.
All right.
So you're good to go. Once you get to 10, you're good.
Sounds good.
Hey, thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.
All right, you too. Bye.
Hello, Scotty.
Hello, Leo.
Hello, Scotty.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good.
Hey, Mary Poppins. I watched the new Mary Poppins, and it looked like he was trying to do Dick Van Dyke's accent.
Yeah, he was. And not very well, I think.
Well, neither did Dick Van Dyke, so it was appropriate.
Dick Van Dyke didn't do it very well either.
No,
so maybe
it's the worst British accent in movie history.
Cockney accent. Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
Yep.
Hamilton guy, Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yep.
It was an interesting challenge for them to do that, Mary Poppins, because I think they wanted to harken back to the original one with all the animations and stuff.
Sure.
But it just wasn't, I don't think it needed to be made.
Yeah, how can you best a classic?
Why do they do that? Because they have short of material, I guess. What do you want to talk about today?
Well, I got a couple things. Got a couple of listener emails I could talk about.
Okay.
I've got. I must admit, I have a bone to pick with streaming.
Good. Pick that bone.
So I'm going to pick a bone.
Always good. That's good for radio. Talk radio is bone picking. That's
this is the problem with modern media, though. Is with
that's all they do.
And so on.
That's
all they do.
Everything is bone picking
and
gotchas
and horribleness.
Yeah,
gotchas.
Gotchas.
Anger.
What are you doing for Joanna tomorrow?
Well, actually, yesterday we did most of our celebrating because yesterday was her birthday.
Oh, that's nice.
So we took a drive up to Ojai and Santa Barbara. It was a beautiful day. Tomorrow, I've got a little surprise for her.
Oh, Lisa went out and got me bagels.
All right.
Today, which was really
Excellent.
Nice. Yeah.
Well,
here we go.
Joanna, yes. Oh, here we go.
What is hip? Well, this guy right here, this is the hipster himself, Scott Wilkinson, home theater geek, contributor with techhive.com and our regular visitor talking about big screen TV, surround sound. How you doing, Scott?
Hey, doing good, Leo. How about yourself?
I am wonderful. Happy Valentine's Day Eve.
Eve? Yes. My wife and I will undoubtedly do something fun tomorrow.
Oh, I hope you will. I hope you will. Mm-hmm. So you said you had a bone to pick.
Yeah, I'm a little pissed off with streaming.
Oh no.
Yes. Now you and I talked often about streaming versus physical media. You say physical media is dead. I am forced to have to agree with you.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be the right thing. It doesn't have to. No, seriously, but. It is, just the way of the world. I mean, I think
it is the way of the world.
I understand when people say the best quality is on a UHD disc, physical
that is
disc.
True.
Yep.
And I'm not even talking about quality here. I'm talking about, well, here's the situation. The example that I am really upset about is my wife and I started watching this CBS show called FBI.
FBI.
Nice, great show. We like crime procedurals. We like Law and Order. Those are fun for us.
Yeah,
so
you're not alone. They're the most popular shows in America.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we started watching. They're in season 3 now, and we started watching from the beginning because we wanted to, start from the beginning. So we watched season 1, episode 1, 2, 3, 4. All of a sudden, boom, it's gone. And all that's on CBS All Access, which I pay good money for.
Yes.
All that's there is season 3. Seasons 1 and 2 disappeared.
You hadn't seen it yet?
No, we hadn't. We'd only been like 3 or 4 episodes into season 1. And boom, it's
They
gone.
had thought you'd seen it all, Scott. They said,
Man.
what are you waiting for?
Just
I wonder
jump
why
to
they do
season
that.
3. No, why do they do that? And there are other examples too. For another example is I started catching up on a couple of old series that I really liked when they were on, and I started watching them on I forget Stream Movie. I forget which service it was, and all of a sudden they disappeared. And it got me thinking about how with physical media, obviously, you have it as a physical medium. You have it as a disc. You can watch it anytime you want. It's not going to disappear.
That's a really good point. You own it.
You own it.
You own it.
And whereas with the streaming service, they can choose to have it come and go whenever they want.
That's right. And even if
now,
you buy, this is the thing that bugs me, even if you buy a movie from Apple or Amazon or Google, they can withdraw it. You don't really own it. You're still renting it even if you buy it.
That's correct. That's correct. Yeah. Now, in some cases, I can understand. I get these emails. I have Netflix, of course, as most people do. And I get these emails, oh, here are the titles that are leaving Netflix this month. And so at least you have a warning. And if you really want to see something before it goes away, and I realize that that's probably because they have licensing deals, right? And
that's exactly what's happening, right? Yeah.
They've paid for the content to be there for a certain amount of time. Okay, well, I don't like it, but I kind of understand it. But an old series, seasons 1 and 2 of FBI on CBS All Access, this is content they
It's their own content.
It's their own content. Why would they get rid of it? Man, oh man, that makes me mad.
Well, you've kind of nailed it on in terms of what the problem is with streaming.
With streaming,
but what most people have decided is that the convenience outweighs that risk.
Isn't that always the case? People almost always choose convenience over quality, which is the whole physical media versus streaming debate.
Yep.
You know, the streamer is much more convenient. You don't have to have shelf space to hold your discs and then go and get them and pull them out and put them in a player and blah, blah, blah. It's just always, it's there, but it's not always there.
Yeah.
And the convenience part goes away when the streaming service decides, we're just going to pull this.
Yeah.
I mean, what do do they not have, enough storage? No. We're run out of storage. You better get rid of seasons 1 and 2 of FBI.
I mean, I guess the same thing happens with physical media, but maybe in the reverse. For instance, there are a great many movies you can't get on DVD, let alone UHD or Blu-ray. You can't even get a DVD version, right?
Yep.
So it's in a way, it's in the reverse. Yes. You know, because if they're only going to sell 100 of them, they're not going to take the trouble of printing them up. Streaming,
that's true.
They know exactly how many they've sold, and you probably were the last 3 people in America watching that show.
To watch seasons 1 and 2, yeah. The old seasons. On the other hand, a show like, say, for example, NCIS, which is another crime procedural that we like, all, 18 seasons are up on CBS. How long that will be, who knows?
You just don't know. Maybe they do that so that you will watch them. But there's no ads in them, right? They don't make more money if you watch it. The only way to make money is if you subscribe. So you would think keeping you happy would be more important than anything else.
Correct. This is what I think. And CBS All Access is a subscription service. I pay for it every month.
Yeah. You got it for Picard, right?
I did. That's exactly right.
They were smart. They did Picard. They made it exclusive. You can now watch it elsewhere. But they made it exclusive. They got you to subscribe, and then you never stopped. It worked.
That's right. That's right. Well, because there was other stuff on there I wanted to see.
Right.
Once I finished Picard.
Oh, so somebody's saying it's on Amazon Prime.
What is?
FBI.
NCI or FBI. Oh.
So apparently, the distributor is not CBS but NBC Universal. And here's that's another thing. How do you know?
Me started.
How do you know? Who gets what? Yeah.
Exactly. And even with the stuff that you do want to watch, how do you remember that, this one's on HBO Max, and that one's on Amazon Prime, and that one's on CBS All Access? I mean,
do you think people are getting tired of the $15 charge every month? Like they're getting subscription fatigue?
Sure. And if you want to watch this on that one and that on that one,
you don't know which is where?
You don't know which is where, and you have to pay for multiple subscriptions.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, cord cutting doesn't look so economical anymore.
So we found a solution for you, Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime. Oh, I'm going to go look right away.
But this is what I remember. West Wing was on Netflix. I was in the middle of rewatching, because who hasn't seen it? But I was rewatching, and all of a sudden it moves to HBO Max.
It's fun.
Yeah. So the only answer is subscribe to all of them. And now Universal Plus is coming. You've seen all the a lot of ads.
Paramount Plus is coming.
Paramount Plus. Yes, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
See, I'm confused by who owns what. It's crazy.
So it's crazy. It is crazy. And I was just, thanks for giving me the opportunity to vent a little bit here.
You're fine. I mean, what's weird is that CBS now has, because Paramount is CBS, Viacom, CBS, I think. So now they have two.
Right, correct.
They have CBS All Access and Paramount Plus, which is completely confusing.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. It's like, what?
And
is one going to replace the other?
But I think, people talk about cord cutting, getting all of your television over the internet, over the top, as they call it, instead of over the cable.
Over the air or cable or satellite,
But the problem is, by the time you add up all the channels, if you want to watch if you want to watch these shows, you're going to end up spending the same amount of money anyway, if not more. Scott Wilkinson, home theater geek and angry consumer. He writes at techhive.com, joins us every week. Thank you, Scott. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Paramount Plus is replacing CBS All Access.
So my question then is, I have CBS All Access. Is it going to automatically
convert you over? Probably, yeah.
All right. Well,
it's very confusing. I mean, look what happened with HBO Max. Nobody knew what they were getting.
I had already been paying for HBO.
Right, HBO so you get it automatically. Yeah, as did I.
It converted automatically, and that was fine.
Yeah. Scott, I apologize. I realized after last week that I had cut off your entire top of the hour segment. So I apologize.
Oh,
because I was helping that lady. I felt so bad, and then I got to the end of the call, and I thought, oh crap. So all yours. I'm going to give it to you.
I'm happy for you to help people. I'm totally down with that. And by the way, is my video acting okay today with the audio?
Yes. Are you still on OBS Ninja?
Oh yeah.
Good.
Sure am.
Well, it seems to be working just fine. Yeah.
Excellent. I did restart my computer.
I think maybe that was the secret.
Well, I did it last week too, and it didn't work.
And also reboot your cable modem, I think. Is the other thing.
Well, it's
not always the case, but I think it's not a bad idea to reset everything. If it happens again. It isn't.
If it happens again.
Yeah, it is.
All right. Oh, then good.
Okay.
Beatmaster, let's talk about how those streaming services love price hikes. Yeah, damn straight.
Well, here's the deal. They're telling me now Amazon Prime you have to pay for FBI.
You have to pay per episode,
Yeah,
right?
you have to buy it. You're going to buy it, though. The whole season's like $23. You're going to buy it. You are. I know you are.
Well, yeah.
I don't mind doing that because I don't want to see ads, so I don't mind doing that.
Right. I've been actually watching a couple of Gene Roddenberry did two other series besides Star Trek that I happen to like. One was called Earth Final Conflict. And one was called Andromeda.
Wow, I don't remember either of those.
Oh yeah.
And they're good.
And they're good. I like them. But they're either available on like Amazon Prime for like $2 an episode, or you can get them for free on Tubi, but you have to sit through ads. So
I think you should be a Tubi subscriber. So close to $2.
I am. Well, Tubi is a free subscription. You sign up, you register, and then it'll keep you. It'll say, okay, you want to continue watching this show or that show.
Yeah.
So I did sign up for that, but you have to sit through ads. And that's all there is to it.
And the thing about streaming ads is there aren't very many of them, so they're repetitive as hell, and that really bugs me
repetitive as hell, but they are shorter.
Yeah. Yeah,
they're
that's
somewhat
true.
shorter than regular TV ads.
Interesting.
So that's okay. I just hit the mute button and wait them out.
Yep. Yeah.
I do like both those shows, to tell you the truth. Andromeda is far future, galactic civilization falls, and one ship is left to try and rekindle the light, as they say.
Wow. Rekindle the light.
Yeah. It's Roddenberry's attempt at a little bit more philosophical approach, which is kind of cool. And then Earth Final Conflict is aliens come to Earth in the near future. They don't say exactly when. It was 1998, I think, that the first season was, and they're saying it's shortly after the turn of the millennium. And these aliens appear to be benevolent.
Hang in there. Can you do the top?
Sorry. Yeah, sure.
Hey, I do want to mention our fine sponsor today on the Tech Guy podcast. Somebody I've been using for a long time. Linode. You know Linode? Linode, Linode. Managing your complex cloud infrastructure. These days, it used to be you'd have to, boy, it was crazy the old days. You'd have to, colo, buy the server, go to the rack, mount it in a colo, all of that. No more. No more. Now, within minutes, seconds really, you can speed up a cloud computing server for anything you want to do. Website hosting, app building. That's what I use mine for because I like to play with web apps, things like that. For storage or even for backup, it's up to you. You can easily launch and enrich your developer applications, hosted services, websites, AI, machine learning workloads, gaming services, CI/CD environments. That's why over 800,000 developers choose Linode. It's easy to use. The Cloud Manager is completely intuitive. They have a full-featured API, so you can write your own code to interface with your servers. Data centers all over the world, and regardless of location, pricing is simple and consistent. You just choose the data center near you. The best customer support, they're geeks like us. So when you ask a question, they give you the straight answer. They're there 24/7, 365 days a year, and that rep can help you. No handoffs, no tears. And it doesn't matter. They don't go, oh, well, you don't have a big plan. I'm not. No, they treat everybody with dignity and act as if you're their best customer ever. I love them. You could choose shared and dedicated compute instances, your choice, or you can use your $100 in credit, because that's what I'm going to give you, on S3 compatible object storage or managed Kubernetes and more. Linode's got a great YouTube channel, youtube.com/LINODE, Linode. Video tutorials, security tips, lots of information. Everybody loves Linode. I'm such a huge fan. So is Bryce Adams from Meteoric. They use Linode. He says, quote, from the start, we were looking for a partner, not a provider. Some of the large providers see us only as a transaction. I think you probably know what he's talking about. Linode is the kind of partner that will be with us from the start today and beyond. Simplify your infrastructure, cut your cloud bills in half with Linode's Linux virtual machines. Whether you're developing a personal project like me or managing larger workloads, you deserve simple, affordable, accessible cloud computing solutions. They've been doing this for a long time, and I'm going to give you $100 in free credit just because you're listening if you go to linode.com/techguy or text TWiT, text TWiT to 474747. 474747, and you'll get your credit. You get a link right there. Linode.com/techguy. Just click the create free account button to get started and get that $100 credit. If it runs on Linux, it runs on Linode, linode.com/techguy. And we thank Linode for supporting the Tech Guy podcast. I've been a Linode customer since they started from the very beginning. Linode.com/techguy. 8888 Ask Leo. Ed's on the line from Orange County, California. Hello, Ed.
Yes. Hey, Leo. How's it going?
It's great. How are you?
Oh, good. Yeah, so I had a question for you. You guy who knows everything about tech.
Well, I pretend to on the radio, but I'll do my best. If I don't know it, the chat room will probably help you.
Right. So I have an Apple laptop, an Apple Air, and I have a VPN. I have Thunderbear or whatever it is. Anyway,
yes, I know which one you're talking about.
So anyway,
Thunderbear. I like Thunderbear though.
Yeah, it does have some good colors on it. It's pretty got some good graphics. So,
yeah. It's Tunnel Bear, but Thunderbear is a little bit better.
I'm sorry.
No, I don't care. They're very popular. They've been around for a long time.
Tunnel Bear. Okay.
Yeah, they're owned by McAfee now. So.
Okay. So I wanted to add a little bit more privacy when I'm surfing identity theft protection, and I had some privacy platforms I wanted to run by you to add on to my laptop. Just wondering if you have.
Well, let me start by asking you what your goals are. You say you want to protect yourself against identity theft.
Right.
Okay.
And I know my email is already out there on the dark web. So
yeah, so is everybody's. It'd really be difficult for your email to be totally private. In fact, it's you're using it everywhere. So I'll tell you what I do that helps a little bit. First, I'm going to tell you a couple of things you can do. I registered a domain name for email. I won't say what it is because a little obscurity is not a bad thing. But the way I've set it up with my email provider is anything, let's say it's myemail.com. Anything that comes to myemail.com will come to me. So whenever I sign up for anything, I just signed up for a flower delivery service. I use their name at mymail.com. It still comes to me. I still see it, but I know who has that email address. I can even see if they sell it or it goes anywhere else because I'll get email from if I get email from other companies, I'll know, oh, they sold my name. Not that there's anything you can do about it, but if you want, at this point, you can block that address because that's unique, right? That's
right.
That's flower delivery at myemail.com. I can just block that. So that's one thing you could do. I'm going to tell you about a company that I think on the smartphone offers a really interesting service. It's called MySudo, MySudo. And what it lets you do is create, and it's free, by the way. Well, it's free for the basic service, and they have step-up service, as a lot of companies do.
Right.
iOS or Android. It lets you create a email address and a phone number that you can use uniquely with another service. So if you want to keep your phone number and email private, this allows you to create an infinite number of these, or you can have one that you use for, orders online, things like that. And that way, you're segregating it away from your real phone number and your real address. And I'll tell you, there's several times I've foolishly signed up, say, I want to know more about, funeral service information.
Right.
And then I get pestered by these guys. Well, in this case, literally for the rest of my life. So that's probably useful for that kind of thing. Another thing I'm going to suggest, and these guys are a sponsor. MySudo used to be. I don't know if they still are, but I used MySudo long before they were a sponsor. The other one I also have been using forever before their sponsorship is privacy.com. Now, this is a good solution for identity theft. Identity theft is a hazard. If they get your social security, birthday, and name, for instance, they can create a fake person and get credit cards in their name and stuff, and this can really ruin your credit. That's identity theft. The best way to avoid that is by keeping things like your social security number super private. It's unfortunate that so many things use this, including the IRS, as an identifier. If your tax accountant is emailing you your returns with your social on it, there's a risk somebody could get it. And really all they need is everything that they need to do identity theft would be on your tax return, your name, your address, your birth date, and your social. So those are the things you want to keep really private. But another company that I use for credit cards online is privacy.com. They create one-time use credit cards that either are only used once and then are burned, they can't be used again, or are tied to a merchant. So if I'm going to buy these theoretical Valentine's Day flowers, I can use this special credit card with them, and only they can use that credit card. I can set a limit. I can expire it or pause it if I want. And there is no way to use that to get back to me. Nobody can steal. If they steal that credit card number, it doesn't matter. They can't use it. So that's another way to avoid, some of the risks of identity theft or getting a credit card stolen. Privacy.com for credit cards. MySudo, MySudo.com for phone numbers and emails. And then really, it's very important that you keep your Social Security, your birth date, your mother's maiden name, all of those things as private as possible. Does that make sense?
I do that, but I wanted to ask you, do you know anything about IDX Privacy? It's a company that will protect it's like $80 a year. Have you heard about them?
Yeah, I haven't. Let me look at their website. I'm always suspicious of companies that will charge you to protect you. In general, they're a convenience, but they're going to do things that you might already be able to do. I see one of the things they have is a VPN.
I've already got a VPN.
Yeah, so you don't need that. Let me see more about what IDX. Take back your privacy. There's a lot of take back your privacy without the details on how they do that. Understand your privacy risks. Well, I think you understand that. Remove your information from public sites. I have mixed feelings about that. Most of the time, I mean, there's some places they can do that, like the sites that take public records and put them online. They can do that. Most of those sites have a form you could fill out yourself. Maybe they do this for you to remove your entries from there. But a lot of the stuff that's online about you, certainly about me, is nobody can control that. That's just out there. Stop companies from tracking you online. A good browser like Firefox with a plugin like uBlock Origin will do that. Protect yourself on Wi-Fi. That's presumably their VPN. You're already doing that.
Right.
And then there's CyberScan and Social Sentry. This sounds, yeah.
And there's a remediation. They have one.
That's what you're really paying for when you're doing this. It's like LifeLock. What you're really paying for is their insurance.
Okay.
And what they'll do if you get your identity stolen. I think really, if the thing you're worrying about is somebody stealing your information and creating a credit or using your credit, the best thing you can do is put a fraud alert on the 3 credit reporting agencies.
Okay.
I will put a article. We've posted this before from one of my colleagues on how to do this. It's free. Used to cost money, but now you can do it for free. It is I think, a very good thing to do. Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax are the 3 big credit agencies.
Right.
If you put a fraud alert on there, remember, you won't be able to borrow without removing it.
Yeah.
And you could do that temporarily. So it's a little bit of an inconvenience, but it's a big inconvenience for the bad guy because they can't get credit in your name. You can also go to identitytheft.gov because they have all the information on that website on how to do that. And that's free. I would say that you can probably do everything yourself. It's a matter of, is it worth paying $10 a month to some company to do this for me, or, am I capable of doing it myself? And I would at least look into what it is to do it yourself. Identitytheft.gov is a great place to start. That's from the Federal Trade Commission.
Well, thank you, Leo. You're probably saving me some money there.
I think it's worth. Here's why I like doing it myself. Then I know what's been done. I think it's important to read up on what the threats are. I think it's not worth being paranoid about this.
Right.
What you're really buying when you use a commercial service, in my opinion, is the convenience of them doing it and mostly the insurance. It's the same thing with a surge suppressor. What you're really buying, they can't prevent against all electrical accidents, but what you're really buying is the insurance if something bad happens. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. I like this identitytheft.gov. This is relatively new. And it looks like they've done a very good job. They've got sample letters that you can send to the credit card companies, the debit card companies, the different kinds of theft. This is a nice resource they put together, FTC. Identitytheft.gov. All right, Scott, now it's all yours, my friend. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you so very much. Hey, everybody. Nice to see you as always. Beatmaster asked, did I ever get into Farscape? You bet. That was a fabulous show. Really good. Even my wife liked it, and she's not a sci-fi person. But she really got into that. We got into that one together. What we're getting into together is that and Babylon 5. And we were
Lisa
watching
and I started watching The Expanse. We really like that. Have you watched that together?
Oh, no. I think it's probably too dark for her.
It's pretty dark,
Yeah. I have just started that one as well. And I've gone back to the beginning because I never got into it when it was brand new.
Yeah, it's taken me 3 tries.
Yeah, exactly.
Now I've gotten far enough. I think by the time you get to 5 or 6 in season 1, you get engaged.
You're invested enough.
It's complicated.
Yeah, exactly. So that is another one on my own personal list. I think Joanna probably wouldn't dig it, but we started watching Babylon 5 again after not having seen it for years and years. And I have the DVDs, and we started watching the DVDs, which look kind of crappy. But okay, that was all that was available, really. And then it came on, and then they redid it and put it on HBO Max. It's remastered, and it looks great. And oh man, we're in the middle of season 3, and we switched over to HBO Max, and what a difference! Now, interestingly, the DVDs are 16:9, whereas the HBO Max is the original 4:3. Which actually helps the CGI, of which there is much. There's a lot of it. So let's see. Swamp Rat's watching Star Trek Voyager for the first time. Better than I expected. Yeah, some episodes of Voyager are great. Really great. I love False Prophets. The episode where they run into the Ferengi who didn't get back from trying the Barzan wormhole in Next Generation. And they end up exploiting this primitive civilization. I thought that was a hilarious one. And Mike B has given me great advice here. If you just go to Google and type in "watch," the name of the show, it'll tell you what streaming service it's on. So I'm going to start doing that for sure. And he says also the other thing with the Google trick is Google will tell you which services you are subscribed to in order to see the show. That's interesting. If I just randomly type this into Google, how does it know what shows I'm subscribed to? It's a little scary that it knows that much about me. Keith 43, am I a Marvel fan? Yes, I absolutely am. And I've been watching WandaVision. And I have to tell you, the first 2 episodes of WandaVision were just so lame, I thought. It was, the fake laugh track was just really annoying to me. And the whole set, Marvel and Wanda Maximoff and Vision
it's awful.
set in the 1950s was terrible.
So I think I forced myself to watch it. It does start. I think people should start with 3. You get the point.
Exactly. You get the point. The first 2 episodes, I was like, "What the hell is this?
Yeah.
Why are they even doing this? It's absurd."
No, it's.
But then
you kind of have to start with 3, because if you start with 4, you'll miss the. But also, if you're not up on the Marvel universe, which I'm not, it's mystifying.
That's true. And there's an awful lot of references to other Marvel movies.
Yeah, I don't understand what's going on at all. And I'm up to 5.
And I'm a Marvel fan, so I've seen most of the Marvel movies.
You have to know MCU really well. And I don't know it at all. And so it makes no sense to me at all.
Yeah, exactly. Like what is this? What Wanda's brother was killed? What?
Yeah.
And Vision, what's his story? You're right. You're exactly right. If you're not into the MCU, Marvel Cinematic Universe, it's not going to make much sense. So
I don't even know who's in the Marvel. I don't know any of this stuff. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. Well, then spend your time watching something else.
Yes, I am.
Good.
Yes.
The Expanse, for example.
Well, and The Expanse even is pretty dark. I think I'm going to read the book instead of watch the show. I don't know. I started reading the book, and it seems like it's a little better. It's good. Okay. I'm not saying it's not good. It's just,
Oh, yeah, it's well done television.
Yeah, it's amazing given sci-fi made it at first. It's kind of amazing that it...
Yeah. Yeah, exactly right. So there's so much good stuff out there. Let's see here. Allroy just sent me a private message, but it's something I can probably talk about here. Just picked up a Yamaha TSR 700 7.1 channel network AVR for $329. Should I keep it or get a Denon or Onkyo? What best for music? Yamaha's great. Great AVRs. My very first receiver was a Yamaha, and I loved it. And I always have loved the sound of Yamaha. So I don't have any problem with that. Absolutely. Denon, but Denon is another choice. That's what I currently have. So either one would be great. I don't have any problem with either of those, And if you've got a 7.1 channel and you're happy with that, you don't need Atmos, then I say go for it. Keep it. It's good. Sounded like a good price too. Let's see here. Key 43, yes, I was going to record that. It starts slow and weird. You're talking about WandaVision? It starts slow and weird. Very slow and very weird. Oh, Zufai's watching Queen's Gambit. I haven't started that yet. I've heard of it, and Leo recommends it highly, but I have not started it. Neelix was a good Ferengi, Joe says. Yes, exactly right. Precisely right. He made a great Ferengi. Captain J, did I catch Clarice? No. That's a little too creepy for my taste. But that's just me. Sounds like we're about ready to start here. There we go.
Thank you, Scott.
My pleasure. See you next week.
One.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. Time to talk computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smartwatches, all that jazz. 8888 Ask. Leo is the phone number. 888-827-5536. Toll free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada outside that area. Still call. But you probably should use Skype, and then it won't cost you anything, and you won't mind being on hold for a while. I'm sorry. I apologize. Suzanne from Redondo Beach. Very patient. Thank you, Suzanne. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Leo. Happy Valentine's Day to you and Lisa.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. I have a dilemma with my laptop. It continuously goes on and offline as I'm using it. And my computer guy put in a new battery and a new USB adapter, but it's still doing it. Any ideas?
So you're using it. The computer seems to continue to work, right? It's not that it's turning itself off. You just lose internet access?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So you're able to, if you're word processing, you can still type. But when you go to a website, what happens? It just spins for a while?
It gives me a light blue screen or gray screen, and it just says you are offline, check diagnostic, blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
And then it'll go back on again. And I'm wondering if my modem's going out or...
I don't think so. Windows 10?
Yes.
Okay. This is one of those things where there are lots of possibilities. And I'm not going to be able to diagnose this from remote control, but I can give you some things to look at.
Okay.
Certainly the router is you're not wrong to think it's the router. The way to figure that out, do you have another system or a phone or anything else on that network?
I do. I have a cell phone.
So the thing to do the next time it happens is try the cell phone and see if you can surf on the cell phone. If you can, then it's not the router. So we're going to try to eliminate, possible culprits. There are many possible culprits. But does it happen on your phone? Like if you're using your Wi-Fi on your phone, do you get these periodic timeouts?
I've never noticed it. Now, I'm more of a landline person than my iPhone, but I've never noticed it going out.
Okay. So it might be worth just trying it on your phone to see if the same thing happens. If it does, then we can eliminate your computer as the culprit. But I don't think at this point, I think the computer is the most likely culprit. There are a couple of things you can look at. Now, it gets a little geeky in here. I hope you don't mind, Suzanne.
No, that's fine.
Okay, you might want to throw open a couple of windows. So, first thing to do is you're wired or wireless?
Wireless.
Wireless, okay.
But if I put in the Ethernet, I'm not real techie, but if I add the Ethernet cord, I can get back on again.
Ah, good. That was a perfect example of really how this troubleshooting works, which is eliminate other possibilities. If there were a problem with your network stack, that's what they call all the software that you use to get online on that computer, wired or wireless wouldn't matter. So now, if you plug it in and you never see this problem, that's eliminated a whole bunch of things. It's eliminated, by the way, the router and your internet service provider, both of which could be culprits. But as long as it works fine on Ethernet, well, then we know what it really has to be is the Wi-Fi on your laptop, right?
The Wi-Fi on the laptop.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there are a couple of things we want to look at. One thing that's not unusual in Windows, a lot of laptop manufacturers have not one but two Wi-Fi interfaces. They have the one that was provided by the company that made the Wi-Fi card, often Intel, and then the one that came with Windows. If you have two Wi-Fi interfaces, you're going to want to get rid of one of them. So and you can do that by hitting the Windows Start key and just type Intel and see what Intel software you have on there. It's not always Intel, but it often is Intel. If you have an Intel Wi-Fi manager on there, take that off. Just uninstall that. You only need one. Windows comes with one, and sometimes there's a conflict between the third party and the first party. So that's one possibility. Okay. Another possibility, your Wi-Fi has an interface. There's a device for Wi-Fi. So if you open the device manager, and this is where we get a little geeky in here. You press Windows key X, and you choose device manager. You can look at network adapters, and you can see what network adapters you have. By the way, at that point, you'll be able to see if you have an Intel wireless adapter, which will tell you that then you need to get rid of the Intel software. And if it's another company making the wireless adapter, then you might want to look and see if any of their software is on the machine. At that point, you can examine the Wi-Fi card by right-clicking on it and selecting Properties. And there is one property. I'm so sorry. I know. I apologize. There's one property you want to look at, which is Power Management. You want to make sure, so it's checked on mine, allow the computer to turn off this device to save power. But I've seen it in the past cause problems, and it sounds like that's what's happening, which is the Wi-Fi card is just going, I guess you're not using me, and turn itself off. You open it up, it says, I don't have any connection, and then it gets a connection. It wakes up again after a period of time, and that's possibly what's going on. So you don't need to have the computer turn off the Wi-Fi adapter to save power. That's a silly feature. So uncheck that. That's, again, I'm going to go through this quickly, but we'll put this in the show notes. Windows key X, Device Manager. Under Network Adapters, you'll find a wireless adapter. Right-click on that. Select Properties. I hate Windows. Select Properties. Click the Power Management tab and uncheck the turn off this device to save power. That's another one. That's another one. I got more. I'm not done. Oh, we're just getting started. It could be that you actually have a bad device driver for the Wi-Fi. So it's always a good idea to go into Windows Update and look at those optional updates. And in fact, I suspect you'll have a great many of them. So you go into Windows Update, you can look at optional updates, and those are not installed by default. You may see that, in fact, there is an update for your networking stuff.
Okay.
If there is, then you might want to try those and see if they fix it. I periodically do that, and in fact, I'm looking at my Windows Update now, and it looks like I don't have any optional updates because just before I left work yesterday, I updated them all. So that's another thing to look at is optional updates. Often those are firmware and hardware updates for your Windows machine. Who makes your machine? HP. That's the other thing you could do is go to hp.com. There's a driver section there, and see that you look up your model, specific model number. Again, Windows X will give you that information under System, and download any updates or any drivers.
Okay.
So those are all little fixes you can try. Now, if it still goes on, it may be you just have a bad Wi-Fi card. This is the less likely option, but that's easily fixed with a $15 USB Wi-Fi adapter.
He just put that in.
Oh, that's what he put in. Oh, and it didn't fix it.
No.
Oh, I missed when you said USB. I didn't realize it was a USB Wi-Fi adapter. Oh,
yeah. I'm sorry. Yes.
No, my fault. Not paying attention. I should have thought about that. And you're using that.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I can see it. It's sticking out of the little port.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Mm-hmm. So some of that stuff I just told you is useless, but
I'll figure it out. Okay.
That's interesting. But it didn't fix it.
No, it's happening still.
Okay. Well, that means it's not your Wi-Fi adapter. It's not your Wi-Fi adapter going to sleep. Presuming that you're using the USB adapter, and it sounds like he would have turned that on and turned your other one off, then there's something going on. It could be with your internet, what we call the internet stack, the software that's used to access the internet on the machine, or it could be a router issue. Try the machine on Ethernet and see if it ever happens.
Okay. Just kind of keep it plugged in and use it that way.
You don't have to do it forever, just for a couple of days. How often does this happen?
Every day.
Yeah, so do it for a day or two, if enough time so that it's really not happening.
Okay.
If it's not, then it's still a Wi-Fi issue, and it's probably a software issue in Windows. Make sure Windows is updated. There's one little weird thing. I'm going to throw this in.
Okay. I'm ready. Pen in hand.
And I'm not sure on your HP, but on many laptops, there is a key, a function key, to disable Wi-Fi. Sometimes it's a switch on the side. This is kind of, in case you get an airplane, you could quickly turn off the internet. Make sure, if that's the case, that you're not accidentally hitting that key. And it turns on airplane mode. It's easy enough to figure that out, because if you go into your, when you move your mouse to the lower right-hand corner and you get, or is it the upper right? I can tell Windows drives.
Yeah, lower right hand.
Yeah, and you get that pop-up of the control center. You could see the airplane mode. Next time that happens, see if you're in an airplane mode, if the network has been turned off. If that's the case, then something may be turning it on or off, and it could be just accidentally hitting that key.
And that should be off, right?
Airplane mode should be off.
Okay, because I did see a little airplane down there in the taskbar.
Oh. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's it.
Uh-huh.
On my machine, which is Lenovo, that's F8, but it may be different on the HP. I don't remember offhand.
Okay.
Boy, there's a bunch of different stuff you can try.
This is great.
Oh, I'm sorry. It got really geeky in here. I apologize. Maybe turn on a phone.
No, this is terrific. You've helped me a lot, and I will definitely pass this information on to him because I don't know anything.
It's a pleasure talking to you, Suzanne. Happy Valentine's Day. All right.
Thank you, Leo.
Take care. Bye-bye. Troubleshooting Windows is such a pleasure because there's about 8,000 things that can go wrong. It's just, it's an amazing conglomeration of things. I guess that's true of all computers these days. They're complicated devices. It's kind of amazing they work at all. Hey, I want to talk about a company that just saved me almost $2,000. Gabby, the insurance company. You've seen their ads on TV. I had. So here's what happened at home. My wife got the insurance bill, and she said they just raised our home insurance $8,000 a year. I said, what? She said, yeah. I said, we should shop that. She said, okay, go ahead. And I found out what a tedious thing this is. You have to go to insurer by insurer. There are more than 40. Enter in everything. I mean, it's like there's a ton of data to enter. And then wait for their quote. And usually that involves a phone call. It was like fortunately, I had just seen this Gabi ad. Gabi. So I downloaded the app, the Gabi app, and filled in some stuff. What they do, and I tell you ahead of time, but you can completely trust them. The way that this works is so awesome. You log into, so I did car insurance and home insurance. I thought, well, why not? You log into your account. So we had, well, I won't say names, but we had an account from one company for the car and another company for the home. You enter your login, and that way they can get all the information. So they know exactly what you're underwriting, right? They came back within just a couple of minutes and said, your car insurance is great. We can't save you money on that, but we could save you a couple of $1,000 on your home insurance. I said, okay, deal. We just got the policy the other day, literally. It worked. The average Gabi user saves $961 in their pocket. Gabi does not sell insurance. They're not an insurance company. What they are is a high-tech company. They created APIs. In fact, they worked with all the insurance companies. They work with 40 top insurance providers, Progressive, Nationwide, Travelers, and they encourage them to develop an API so that your customers don't have to do this manual entry, which averages about 1,100 keystrokes per insurer, and we can just do this automatically. They convinced them. Link your current insurance account. In most cases, you'll get a quote in just a few minutes for the exact same coverage you have. That's why you have to have them log into your insurance so they know exactly what your insurance coverage is. If you want to, and by the way, no obligation. If you want to move forward with one of the quotes, then they're going to send that information. The underwriters at the insurance company you pick, and you'll get a number of choices. We'll go through it. Sometimes that involves a phone call, sometimes not. They'll review the details, confirm the final price, any adjustments are made, that kind of thing. The whole point of Gabi is they make it easy to shop your insurance. Gabi customers, as I mentioned earlier, save an average of $961 a year. Wouldn't that be nice? Without a lot of struggle shopping it around. They never sell your info. No spam, no robocalls. They treat you as your info as sacred. You can feel very safe. They're there to save you time and money, and boy, they sure did for us. Gabi.com/tech. See how much you can save. You're almost certainly overpaying. And you know what? When they said, hey, you're not overpaying on car insurance, you've got the best you can get, I thought, it's pretty good. That felt good. I did all right on the car insurance. You'll save the most if you do car and home insurance, of course, from the same company. But they'll tell you. They'll give you all the information. It's so easy. It's so fun. Get the app, put it on your phone, or just go to Gabi.com/techguy, Gabi.com/techguy. Thank you, Gabi, for your support of the Tech Guy podcast. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. 8888, ask Leo the phone number. Back to the phones we go. Bob on the line from Hermosa Beach. Hello, Bob.
Hi, Leo. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Good. I listen to you all the time.
Thank you.
I have a question about home internet. So currently I have Spectrum home internet.
Okay.
Works just fine.
Yep.
But it's expensive. And I'm a longtime T-Mobile customer. And I recently got a text from them saying that T-Mobile home internet is available in my area. So I went online. Yes, it's available here. And when I look at the details of the plan, as far as what speeds can I expect, I'm reading right from their website here. The vast majority of our customers experience speeds of 25 megabits per second or more.
Yeah.
And I'm getting 200 with Spectrum.
Yeah. So understand what it is. It's T-Mobile's cell service, right? It's their cell data.
I realize it. Yeah. It's that. Yeah.
And in fact, I get much faster on T-Mobile here. So, those are such weasel words. The vast majority of our customers, 25 megabits or more.
I know.
Who knows what that speed is? They're not even guaranteeing 25 megabits. Best way to find out is if you could find somebody with a T-Mobile cell phone and say, do a speed test for me. That'll give you a pretty good idea.
Yeah, well, I have a T-Mobile.
Oh, well, then you know.
Okay. Oh, okay. Well, so I have not done the speed test on the T-Mobile.
Yeah, make sure you turn off the Wi-Fi so you're not using. You're not using Spectrum. You're using your cell tower. That's the best way to do it because that's actually go to wherever you think they would place that. Usually they put it near a window, so go by the window and see what it is, and that's pretty close to what you're going to get.
Huh.
$50 a month, so it's not much cheaper than what you're paying for cable, I would imagine.
I'm paying $80 right
Yikes!
now. So
Yeah, the cable companies, what you have to understand, from their point of view, they see customers disappearing, millions a year, every one of them, because they're doing cord cutting and they're getting all their TV off the internet. So they understand. They don't like it. But they understand that ultimately their future is as an internet service provider, not as a TV provider. They make a lot more money as a TV provider. So what they've been doing as a result of the last few years is slowly increasing the price of internet. In fact, if you were to call them up and say, I just want the internet, they say, well, that'll be $10 more if you're not getting TV. So they have it all carefully figured out. Their goal ultimately is to make the same amount of money off of you, regardless of what you're doing. So that's why $80 is pretty outrageous.
$80 is just internet. I don't have TV, nothing.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So that's whatever. That's their regular internet plus whatever premium you're paying because you're not doing the bundle.
Right. Oh, yeah, I know.
So you're already well aware of their. Yeah. So you'll save money. Now, who knows what T-Mobile will do down the road? They're going to give you a box, which is essentially a Wi-Fi router connected to the LTE data service they offer.
Correct.
Are they giving you 5G? And do you get 5G in your area?
I believe we do. They recently sent me a new SIM card. I put it in. They said that was important for 5G.
Good, and you see 5G. So do that speed test because you'll get whatever that 5G speed is. Now, there are things to remember. This is true of cable, too. It's very similar to cable. So the cell company has a cell tower near you. That's where you're getting the data from. And they feed that with a certain amount of internet. They call that the backhaul. If 100 people are using that same cell tower, that's that total speed available to it divided by 100. So and that's the same for a cable. They have their head end comes into somewhere in your neighborhood, and then it's divided among all your neighbors. So it's the same thing. My suggestion is do the speed test in prime time when everybody's watching Netflix. That'll give you a good idea of what you can expect. If more people do what you're doing, it'll go down again, unless T-Mobile. And I think T-Mobile's being very aggressive because, they just bought Sprint, and I think they really want to win customers. If they put more bandwidth into that cell tower, you'll benefit.
Okay. So tell me, how much do I realistically need? My wife and I, we stream TV a lot. We do a lot of Zoom-type calls and not a 5-minute call for longer periods of time. Currently, I've got 200 megabits per second.
Yeah, you won't get anywhere near that with T-Mobile, that's for sure.
No, I know. But how much do I need? I mean, roughly.
Well, if you look at Netflix, which is a good example of bandwidth requirements, Netflix has a page where they say, okay, well, how much internet speed connection recommendations, and they say if you want to watch Ultra HD 4K, 25 megabits. If you are doing that and your wife's doing that, or you're all doing Zoom at the same time, add it all up. I'd say if you're getting 100, you're fine.
Okay.
But if you're getting less than 100, you may get in a situation where your wife has to say, honey, I'm on Zoom. Can you stop watching YouTube or Netflix?
No, we don't want to do that.
That's likely what'll happen.
Yeah.
So it's shared. It's that shared thing. But for one Netflix stream or one Zoom call, I'm sure 25 megabits. Problem is they're not even saying 25 megabits. They're saying you're going to get what you get. That's why I do that speed test. I get more like 100 megabits on my T-Mobile. Let me just see right here. I'll do it right now. And they say I'm getting 5G as well here. So I'm going to turn off my Wi-Fi. And I'm going to go to speed test. There are a lot of different speed tests. It doesn't.
I have speed test on my phone. I just hadn't thought of doing what you did, which is turn off the Wi-Fi and then.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're just all you're seeing is your Wi-Fi speed, and then go by the window to give it the best shot. And I would do it several times throughout the day. The nice thing about speed test is they'll keep a record of previous attempts, so you can kind of see a graph of what it looks like throughout the day. All right, let me just quickly do this. This is T-Mobile, Google Fi I'm using, but it's a T-Mobile network. Actually, I should do it on my phone. So I'm getting, it's up to 80 megabits now on the download. Download's what you really care about.
Yep, I understand.
Although for Zoom, your upload speed's going to be important for the quality of your picture. And I'm getting 12 megabits. So this is actually very good. It's not the 200 you're getting from Spectrum, but it's certainly adequate to do a couple of Zoom calls at the same time.
Yeah, well, that's what I want to do. I mean, I don't want to overpay for anything, and I want to save the money if I can.
It's so tricky. Before you disconnect Spectrum, one thing you could do, I'm sure T-Mobile, you should look at it, has a money back if you're not happy policy. Yep. See how long that is, and then I would have them overlap for a little bit. Just to see, Yeah. So I'm going to go, let me try it on my iPhone. This is T-Mobile's directly. And now I don't know what they're doing as far as, am I going to get the same connection that I get on my phone? I think you're going to get better probably, because phones notoriously don't have the fastest Wi-Fi radios. So, and so on my iPhone, it's roughly the same. I got 8215 on my Pixel. I'm getting about almost exactly the same on my iPhone. So that's here. That's LTE, not 5G. Mm-hmm. So that's, this would be enough, I think, for a home connection. About 100 megabits is kind of, anything past that is gravy.
Okay.
100 megabits would let you Zoom, your wife Zoom, and then your kid watch Netflix.
Right. That's what we need.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks for calling.
Very, very much. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
How you doing, Leo?
Get on your mic. You're not on your mic. There you go. There you go. There you go. The magic of a microphone.
I was doing a TV news interview, and I tried to.
They're so funny. They don't want the microphone. They don't care how you sound on TV.
It's true.
Which is, I know. It's always bugged me. Let's see. T-Mobile, I got 8116. Yeah, it's identical, T-Mobile or Google Fi. So they're both the T-Mobile.
So is it your TV, your monitor that makes me look sideways, or is it my camera? Because I looked fine on other people.
What do you mean sideways?
Looks like my shelf is like.
Yeah, no. That's probably me. I got to fix this camera.
It's you, okay? Because I was like,
well, but look at my shelf's going up. Yours is going down. It's hard to get a straight on shot. But here, look at this is your picture. That's what it looks like.
Okay, that's not too bad. It's still on a little bit of an angle.
He's been everywhere, man, but he's not going anywhere these days. Johnny Jet, our traveling guy, he joins us every week to talk about the changing world of travel in quarantine. JohnnyJet.com/newsletter, JohnnyJet.com/podcast, Johnny Jet on YouTube. Hello, Johnny.
Hello, Leo. So people are traveling this week. Actually, I just looked at the TSA numbers. Over 1 million yesterday, 1 million on Thursday. They haven't released today's numbers, obviously, but it will be close to 1 million, and definitely will be on Monday and probably tomorrow too.
Wow.
So, people are advised not to travel, but they are, and there's some really good deals out there. And I'm not telling the people to travel now. The deal I'm about to tell you is for May. And I suggest people start, snapping up some of these deals. And, if you don't go, you can always get your either money refunded if the flight is canceled, or get a voucher, flight credit for a year or two, whatever the airline's offering. But American Airlines right now, just looked, San Francisco to JFK nonstop, or LAX to Washington, D.C. nonstop, both $145 round trip. I mean, that's insane. So you can't really beat that. So if you are going to travel, this summer, which I plan. I mean, I bought a lot of tickets already using my miles because the airlines are actually been very generous with just, refunding your miles and the taxes if you don't go. So, if you have miles and points, use them. If not, take advantage of these really low fares because I think, and let's hope and pray that, once people do start traveling again and that it's safe and that these mutations are not going to set us back, there's going to be, I think you said it once before, it's going to be like the roaring 20s. People are going to be out and about and it's going to be an exciting time. And I think everyone's going to be dancing in the streets, and I'm going to be one of them.
Bathtub gin all around. It's going to be exciting, kids. I got a catalog from a cruise line and just started circling like crazy. And then I noticed, that's 2023.
Wow. Yeah, they're selling out.
They are. In fact, I looked at one of the cruises I wanted to go on, and it was already sold out for 2023. Unbelievable.
I mean, people will go on a cruise tomorrow. I mean, I think that's crazy. I would not go on a cruise.
The problem with the cruise, unlike flying somewhere and doing something, is you're on a boat, which already people complain that it's very easy to get sick on a boat. I think if you're careful, it's fine. But you're all jammed together. And then the problem is, as we know, if you get sick on the boat, then you get stuck on the boat. And it just doesn't seem like a good...
Not just if you get sick, if one passenger gets sick,
then you're all quarantined. Yeah.
And you don't want to be in a small cabin. Some other good news, I would say, the White House said no to domestic testing, which they were talking about last week. So that's not going to be required like it is for international flights. If you come back to America, you have to have a negative COVID test. So keep that in mind for everybody, Americans, foreigners, or whatever. Also, if you have the Clear app, are you a member of Clear?
Yeah. Although I put it on hold for 3 months.
So did I. I put mine on hold for a year or whatever it's been.
Yeah.
But even if you're not a member, if you're not paying for it, you can just download it, sign up for it for free. And if you're going to Hawaii, flying LAX starting Thursday, either Delta or United, and you sync up your domestic testing because you need to have a negative COVID test to get into Hawaii, or you have to do a 10-day quarantine. If you sync it up with their app, you can skip the line when you arrive in Hawaii. Otherwise, you got to wait. Sometimes it's 45 minutes at least, just to show that you've tested negative. And they'll give you, I think they give you a wristband. Alaska Airlines was doing this. United was doing this. But I mean, and talk about Hawaii. Just today in the news came out that a couple from Minnesota, either the husband or wife, one of them got tested at a Mayo Clinic and the other one got tested at Walgreens. Hawaii would not accept the Mayo Clinic because it's not one of their trusted partners.
But it's the Mayo Clinic.
Mayo Clinic.
Wow.
So the point is, make sure you go onto their Hawaii's website and read who their trusted partners are, because otherwise you're either going to get turned down at the airport or you're going to have to quarantine.
Yeah.
So that's very important. And speaking of Hawaii, United is really putting some bets on people are going to want to go to Hawaii. I'm one of them. Starting in May, they're going to fly nonstop Orange County to Honolulu, which they used to do a long time ago, like 2012. And they're also going to start flying on June 3rd from Chicago to Kona and also Newark to Maui. So Hawaii is going to get an influx of passengers once this whole nightmare is over. So that's good news. And did you hear about United's new they're going to have like a Jetson mobile. They bought these 200 fully electric cars, air taxis.
What?
Did you hear about this?
No.
So they just invested in this Palo Alto company called Archer, where they make these. It holds 4 passengers and a pilot. They take off and land like a helicopter.
No, I'm not doing that. That sounds incredibly dangerous.
They're talking about operation in 2024. I mean, this is
where does
really
it fly you to? From where to where?
It flies 60 miles, 150 miles per hour. So they're trying to eliminate the way to get to the airport.
Like from Manhattan to JFK, kind of.
Or my house to Burbank Airport, or something like that.
Wow.
I'd rather take the 405, even on a congested day, right in the early days of this, because I just don't know how that's going to work. So,
do they have FAA approval?
They would have to. I don't know. I assume they have. United invested a lot of money.
That's wild. So they're little flying cars, basically.
Yeah. Google United Archer air taxi, and they're electric, fully electric. So they're really betting on this, and it's something.
That is amazing.
It is.
They're just trying to make it exciting. And they have.
I just don't see 2024 happening. But.
Wow. Are they really the helicopters just disguised?
No, they have I think they have 2 engines on each wing.
Archer.
And they rotate up and go down. I just watched a little video of it.
Yeah. 60 miles, 150 miles an hour. They're electric, right?
Totally. Fully electric.
Wow. Okay. I'll wait till you do it, Johnny, when you say it's safe.
Well, you're gonna wait a few years.
Yeah, I know. Because you don't like to fly anyway.
No, I love to fly. I just don't like small. I'm not a big fan of small planes.
Yeah.
Although some of my best experiences have been on a small plane in Australia, in a seaplane.
Lisa always, when we went to Hawaii, when we go various places, makes me get in a helicopter. And once you're in them, I guess I don't feel unsafe. The notion, the idea. I know too many people who've died in helicopter accidents. Well, it just scares the heck out of me.
We filmed a TV show in New Zealand, and we were filming there, and the producer's like, go really high. And the guy's like, I've never been this high. I'm like,
you don't want to hear that.
Go this high.
You don't want to hear that. I've never been this high. You don't want to hear that from your helicopter pilot.
Yeah. I'm ready to go on the ground.
We don't normally go this high.
And hot air balloons too. I've done it in Africa, which is one of the best things if you can do one of those. But I've done it in Albuquerque, which I hated because they go really high. But in Africa, they stay low. And it's incredible.
It's still high enough that if it fell out of the sky, it wouldn't be good. Johnny Jet, that's the fun of travel, is getting outside of your comfort zone, doing something you might never do, memories you're creating. I really miss that. I can't wait to get back on the road again. And I know it's not going to be, we're getting close. I think we're all going to get the vaccine. Everybody, you get it so we can all travel, okay? And then maybe in the 6 months, we'll look back on this as a bad dream.
I hope so.
I'll meet you in Paris, Johnny.
From your lips to God's ears.
JohnnyJet.com. Don't forget to follow him on Twitter and Instagram at JohnnyJet. And we can all dream together because it's not much longer. We're going to get out of Dodge. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Why? I've never flown this high.
He said something like this is 2012. But I didn't
Well, now, and I'm reading
that we were in fog, and he's like, and we were above the clouds, and then we had to land, and there was fog everywhere, and he's like, he wasn't sure where it was.
That's what happened to Kobe. Like, you read the NHTSA or the NTSB report on Kobe a year later. The pilot shouldn't have done that. He
got disoriented. It's very easy to get disoriented.
Yeah, but he broke the rules because he felt like, I can't let Kobe down.
I know.
And he flew into the fog, and then he got disoriented and thought he was ascending, and instead he was turning hard left and descending and crashed. And
Well, I got my name, my nickname came from Johnny Jet Ski because I used to jet ski.
I know.
And I jet skied in Long Island Sound. I'd always go to this one spot. But one time the fog rolled in, which is very rare. But it rolled in so much, I honestly couldn't see 5 feet in front of me.
Yeah.
And I didn't know which way was which. And I started going the wrong way. I started going out towards the ocean.
Of course you did. It's disorienting.
And then a boat comes zipping by me. And it's just, and you panic.
Yeah.
So you don't mess around. So it really, that freaked me out a little bit.
You don't want to be bold.
Not for things like that. There's nothing that will do that. When I've talked about hot air balloons, if you ever get a chance, I know you've never been on an African safari, but the best thing I've ever done, and the best excursion ever.
You're going to have to help me convince Lisa.
Is a hot air balloon safari. I've done it twice.
You're going to have to help me. She'll do the balloon because she's a daredevil, but Africa she's afraid of. She says, I don't want to get the shots because she's afraid she's going to get.
You don't even need the shots.
That's what I told her. I said, she won't go to India or Africa. And I said, come on, that's adventure.
Those are some of the best places. I mean, India, I've been I've been multiple times, and I love it out in the countryside. We went on a tiger safari once, and you go out to, and also been on the backwaters of Kerala. And
you talk to Lisa. You convince her, because I can't die without going to Africa. And honestly, I might have to go to India on my own because she's really adamant about it.
People either love or hate India. It's not an easy destination.
I don't expect easy. I know exactly what the challenges are, but I think I don't want to leave that out.
You don't. You definitely don't. But Africa, you go on a nice tour like Mikado or Abercrombie in Kent.
Yeah, we'll do a high-end one.
You talk all the time.
No, I don't want to do talk. But there are, Uniworld owns a African safari company that looks pretty high-end and nice.
Yeah, they're from South Africa. The owners are from South Africa.
Right. So, I don't know. And I like Uniworld a lot. So, we'll see. We'll find one. Jane has one that she really likes too. So, and then there's there's a lot of people pushing us to go to Africa.
You'll never forget it. I mean, it's not just the animals; it's the people.
I know.
You'll go on these. You'll meet the locals. They're so friendly. The kids are waving to you from the street.
I know. Somebody say, "Take Henry." Yeah, maybe Henry and I'll go to India. And then Lisa and I go to. I'll convince her to Africa. I think
You're bringing back some great travel memories. So
yeah, and photos too. Yeah. All right, Johnny.
Take care.
Take care. Have a great week. You too. Stay safe. Bye. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888 Ask Leo, the phone number. John on the line from Lincoln, Nebraska. Hello, John.
Hi, Leo. How are you doing today?
I'm good. What's the weather going to be like in the Great Plains?
Oh, this morning we dropped down to 6 below. But tomorrow for Valentine's Day, at least in Lincoln, 2 below for a high. Wind chill value is probably 25 below zero to 60 below zero. By Tuesday morning, we drop, I've been a meteorologist for 20 years, and I've never forecast a low temperature as cold as this, but down to 22 degrees below zero by Tuesday.
Oh my gosh!
That's the air temperature, not the wind chill.
Does that hurt when you go outside?
You just don't go outside.
You can't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be honest, it's actually not that bad if you're dressed appropriately.
My tongue hurts, though. What do you do with your tongue?
Well, you don't. You
don't stick it out.
The other thing, the greatest invention ever. I've always said this is heated seats in your car.
Yes,
fantastic.
My new car has heated seats and a heated steering wheel, and I'm in California. Imagine,
Well, and here's the crazy thing: it's cold enough now. Last night when I parked, we got another 2 inches of snow last night. It's cold enough in my garage. The snow actually didn't melt off my car.
In the garage.
In the garage, yes.
Wow. John, you know what? You're hardy pioneer stock, and I like it.
So my question for you, I've been an AT&T customer since probably 2003 with my cell phone. The price I'm paying isn't horrible. I'm paying like $60 a month after taxes and everything else. But if I can get it lower, that'd be fantastic. And I've looked at Google Fi, and I've looked at Mint Mobile and some other NVOs. But my big question is, what happens with packet priority?
There you go. That's the right question to ask.
Because I'm concerned if I go to a sporting event or somewhere where there's a lot of people, am I going to be able to get data?
Yeah. So I have a Google Fi phone and a Mint Mobile phone. I use both. Mint Mobile's a sponsor. Mint Mobile's an amazing price. I mean, if you're going to go with an MVNO, mobile virtual network operator, that's somebody who resells cell service from one of the big boys. In both cases, we're talking reselling T-Mobile, although Google Fi has an interesting angle, which is they use T-Mobile and Sprint, which I guess doesn't mean anything anymore, U.S. Cellular, Wi-Fi. They pick the best signal, and that's what you'll be using. And their theory was, and they have the phones are specially designed to do this. This way, if you're in somewhere that's a bad signal for T-Mobile, maybe U.S. Cellular will work better, that kind of thing. And, of course, the Mint Mobile just uses T-Mobile. In both cases, when you're an MVNO, there are some things you give up. And in most cases, the big one is that the company, in this case T-Mobile, will prioritize its own customers. So you nailed it. If you're in somewhere where there are a lot of T-Mobile customers, you may get slower performance. My experience has been I have not had that happen. So I suspect in things like football stadiums where they expect big crowds, they add capability anyway. So there's always enough anyway.
Okay. Well, and the other reason, I mean, for me, Google Fi, and I'm not a Google. I've got a Google account, obviously, but I'm not a. Isn't
that funny? Even if you're not a Google guy, everybody has a Google account. Right?
I mean, for YouTube and then
yeah, you just do.
And I do have a Gmail address, basically, because I'm using it for the just to have a storage space online.
Right.
But the one thing I like about Google Fi is also for if and when we get to travel internationally again.
And that's another disadvantage. So Mint Mobile, you go international, you don't get the benefits of T-Mobile internationally.
So with Google, with many of their products, which tend to fall off. Is Google? Do you see Google Fi sticking around?
Yes, but who knows? I mean, that's a fair. Poor Google. Well, they brought it on themselves. They've really given people this distinct impression that they just give up on stuff, and you never know when they're going to give up. And you're right; they could give up on Fi. I've been very happy with Fi. The deal with Fi is you pay a flat rate, I think $25 a month for talk and text, and then you pay $10 per gigabyte for data. And the nice thing is internationally it's the same. But that's the T-Mobile deal. They're benefiting from the fact that T-Mobile also offers international prices that are the same as their US prices. So you'd get the same with T-Mobile. But it is the case with some MVNOs like Mint Mobile, they don't even offer the international plan. Now,
may not be a huge help. For instance, I went to Prague last year, which, by the way, you helped me a lot with getting my my Echo device to work over there.
Nice.
But I ended up just buying they had a visitor's travel SIM card for $10 for
that's
10
that's what
of data.
a lot of people do when they get to a country. They stop off at the post office or maybe even at the airport and they can get a SIM.
Although then you get to deal with the hassle of trying to crack your case open to be able to get to the SIM card.
Well, and also you lose your phone number. Suddenly you have an international phone number.
True.
Yeah.
True.
So some people don't do that. I think the best way, and almost every carrier now is offering decent international plans. It used to be very expensive. The best is still T-Mobile. I think Google Fi is actually the best because it doesn't change at all. And, there are some weird gaps in coverage. When I was in Monaco a few years ago, it didn't work. Now it does. So there's a few countries where it doesn't work. You should check before you go.
Okay. Yeah, my biggest concern, though, was just the packet priority. And I was just fearing going somewhere, or even if you're in a crowded airport and all of a sudden you can't get.
Yeah, I think it's a theoretical. You're absolutely right. It is the case. I think it's more of a theoretical problem. Certainly, your texts and phone calls will continue to work. Your data might get slow. I don't think it will ever stop. But that happens for all sorts of reasons anyway. There's a cornfield in Nebraska. I'm guaranteeing you cannot get reception. More than a few, I would guess.
Well, and I've got to go back. So I just moved here about 6 months ago. So I've also had to go look closer at the maps of the providers.
Yes,
for
Nebraska's a big state, and I'm sure coverage is not universally good.
Correct. I mean, from what I understand, it's more U.S. Cellular and then spotty T-Mobile /
So that's why Google Fi would be excellent for you.
Yeah,
because you're going to get that benefit of U.S. Cellulars, and then you come to the big city like Lincoln, and T-Mobile works, and so all of a sudden you get the best of both worlds. I think Fi might be a good choice for you. It's not the least expensive. Mint Mobile is less expensive, but it has fewer of the downsides.
Great. All right. Hey, thank you very much for your help.
Where'd you come from, John, before you came to Nebraska?
I was in Indianapolis, so I worked I worked in Cape Girardeau, Missouri for 12 years, and then St. Louis for a little bit, and then Colorado Springs.
You're doing what you do in TV. You're working your way up, right?
Well, I mean, I've been doing this for 20 years now. So, I moved from Indianapolis to Lincoln for my first chief meteorologist job. So
nice. Where are you? What channel?
I'm at KLKN, the ABC affiliate.
Oh, everybody's going, that's John. A pleasure speaking to you, John.
All right. Thanks.
Have a great day. Yeah. That's it. It's the companies don't make it easy to shop your cell coverage because this is fully intentional. They hide the different prices. They have hidden fees. They do all sorts of tricks so that you can't just compare. The last thing they want you to do is to put up a chart which says this is what you get with each of them and this is how they work. So you kind of have to do some research. on coverage, on what additional costs there might be. It's not easy. It's not easy. And one of the reasons I have accounts with Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, Sprint, Google Fi, and Mint Mobile is because that's the only way I can see what the pros and cons are of each. It also means I have to have 6 phones, which is crazy. That's just insane. I do it for you. I don't do it for me, that's for sure. Our show today brought to you by those good folks at IT Pro TV. I've known Tim and Don, practically since they started IT Pro TV. Don Pizzette and Tim Broom were IT trainers in the traditional classroom setting. And they saw a panel I did at NAB many years ago, all about what we do here at TWiT. And they had been fans of Tech TV, and a kind of a light bulb went off for them. And they said, instead of the classroom, what if we did IT training live on the internet, streaming video, downloadable episodes, and IT Pro TV was born. And I helped them out a little bit with some ideas. In fact, they've been advertising with us ever since, and I've been very happy to send thousands of people their way because IT Pro TV is right now the best way to get those IT skills that will help you get the job you want in IT, whether you're just starting out or you've been a long-time IT person. You need to get the skills, you need to get the certs, especially if you're first starting out, so that you can prove to somebody you know what you're talking about, and that's what IT Pro TV is. It's much more than just preparing for the certs, though, I got to say. And by the way, it's much more than it was when it first started. They launched in 2013. They now have 7 studios running Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., so you can watch them live. In fact, if you watch them live, just like us, they have a chat room. But they also have on-demand 5,800 hours of IT training. And the thing is, it's always up to date. IT is like a shark. It has to keep moving, right? Programs get updated. The questions, if you're taking the exams, they get updated. Technologies change. But IT Pro TV is always up to date with the best training, the most engaging instructors, all professionals in the field, but also chosen for their ability to inform and to entertain and to explain. You're going to love it. And if you're not yet working in IT, maybe you're in a job that doesn't completely fulfill you or satisfy, the IT field is the greatest field to get into right now. Pandemic didn't slow it down. In fact, it made more jobs, and there's going to be more ahead. Last I checked, there were 4 million job openings in IT in the United States alone. An IT career can be rewarding. You'll have longevity as long as you keep learning, right? You want to be valuable to your future employers or your current employer, and IT Pro TV helps you do that. They'll tell you what the jobs are out there. They'll help you get certified for them. They have coaching. One reviewer said, quote, "This site has helped me with 2 certifications, also as the supplemental material for my grad school classes. Give it a try. You won't be disappointed. It's better than a university. Get the certs you need from the safety and comfort of your own home. IT Pro TV works on Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, on your computer, on your phone, everywhere. Learn at your own pace, on your own schedule. February this month is Project Management Month at IT Pro TV. This is a great skill to have, especially if you want to get into management. They have a webinar. You just missed it. They did it on the 11th, but don't worry, they are on demand. They recorded it, so you can watch it. It's called Navigating the Future of Project Management. Good way to find out more about the field. There are courses in PMP, ITIL, Service Management, Agile. Get training in Microsoft, Cisco, Apple, Linux. They're the only official video training partner for CompTIA. Those are often the first certs people get, the Security Plus, the Network Plus, the A Plus, that help you get that first job. And they've got training for all the CompTIA certs. Plus, IT Pro TV offers learning coaches along with their wonderful job resources to help guide you on your career path. You don't have to pay for that if you don't want. There's a basic plan that doesn't involve that. So if you already got the job, you don't need the coaching. But if you want it, I think if you're starting out, it's great. What else can I tell you about? Oh, Don Pizzette has a great podcast. It's free, TechNado, featuring industry guests, IT news recaps, a deep dive into the IT realm. These guys are immersed in it. They love it, and they will help you love it, and they'll help you get that job or keep your job or get more money or get a better job. It's time to get a new career in IT with the best IT education anywhere. Go to itpro.tv/twit. We've got an offer code, of course, TWIT30 to receive 30% off all consumer subscriptions now and for as long as you stay active, even if that's forever. 30% off is huge savings. itpro.tv/twit. The offer code TWIT30 for an additional 30% off the lifetime of your active subscription. IT Pro TV. Build or expand your IT career and enjoy the journey. We love them. Tim and Don and the whole team there. They're just great. And I think you'll love them too. And you're just going to love your new career. itpro.tv/twit. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here. I am the tech guy. It means it's time to talk tech. Computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smart watches, all that jazz. 8888 Ask Leo. 888-827-5536. That's toll free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. If you want to talk about what's going on in your computer life, this is your chance. 888-827-5536. On we go with the show. Line 2, Quincy in Las Vegas. Hi, Quincy.
Hey, Leo.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, so I have an old laptop, an old Dell, Latitude D630.
Yeah.
It was bought for me as a gift because my old one had previously broken a car accident because I have to use a laptop.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, it was a crazy situation, and these ones are supposed to be pretty sturdy, and it worked pretty well for about 2 years. It was a refurbished model. And then now I've moved on to something new because that one was slowing down. We actually nicknamed it Grandpa because of how slow it was running.
That's a good idea. Hey, Grandpa.
Came up with it.
Launch Microsoft Word. I'll talk to you in a minute.
It ran on 10 pretty well for the first 2 years, then slowed down. And now they got the new one. I figured I'll experiment a little bit. And I downloaded Linux on it. Wiped the hard drive completely. Put Linux Mint on it.
Okay. Good choice, by the way. Good. I did that. Yeah.
Thanks to your show. You're the one that got me the concept of doing Linux.
Good.
But it was freezing up a little bit and running slow before I did that. And now I've wiped it and put Linux on it. And I'll get maybe 2-3 minutes with it before it completely freezes up. And part of the screen kind of gets like this pixelated.
Yeah, that's a video, obviously, a video driver issue.
Mm-hmm.
And when is this the Mint machine?
Yeah.
Yeah. So just real quickly to explain for those who are saying, what is Linux Mint? It's not Windows, it's not Mac. It's a third operating system that is unique in that it is free and open source. Lots of people work on it. That's Linux. There are a lot of different Linux flavors because it is free and open source. Anybody can design their own version of Linux. All of them have the Linux kernel, but they have other things on top of it, including installers, drivers, applications. And we call these distributions of Linux. Mint is one, very popular one. Mint's kind of an interesting, long story. It's a heritage. It's based on Ubuntu, which is a very popular form of Linux created by Mark Stallworth. He was an internet millionaire who decided, I'm gonna create a company around Linux. He created Ubuntu, and it's very, very popular. Ubuntu is, in turn, based on a community version of Linux, not a company, but a community version called Debian. Debian, D-E-B-I-A-N. So Mint is a derivative of all of that, but it's a flavor of Linux that runs kind of like, Debian, Ubuntu, sort of. Usually it comes with its own desktop environment, the Cinnamon environment. I presume that's what you wanted. And the reason people use Mint is because it looks a lot like Windows. But just like Windows, it has to have a video driver. Here's the difference. Because Windows and Mac are commercial operating systems and, fairly widely used, and they really come from one of, two companies, Microsoft or Apple, there's very good support for most of the video cards out there. With Linux, support for video cards varies wildly. Some companies make their own drivers, but most of the time, the drivers that you're going to use are made by enthusiasts. It's caused problems. Do you have an NVIDIA video card in there, or is it Intel graphics? What is the graphics?
I'm not entirely sure. Now, I think it's going to be Intel because it's
That's actually easiest. The motherboard graphics are the easiest. Yeah.
Okay.
So a lot of times you get in problems when you have an NVIDIA card because there are proprietary NVIDIA drivers and then there are open source NVIDIA drivers, and some of them work better than others. And no. So let's see here. What would I do in this case? That's a good question. It's possible this happens too. You know, that machine, that Dell Latitude, was designed for Windows. In general, if it's an older system, a grandpa system, somebody will have made sure that Linux works on it. But I would Google real quickly that particular Latitude model exactly and Linux. Doesn't have to say Mint, but Linux, and see. It's almost always the case that there are here and there little things that don't work, or that there are little tricks you have to do to get Linux working on that system. Did it work for a while? Was it okay before, or did it ever work?
Linux, it downloaded no problems at all. But then once I got in and I started doing the first steps where you pick.
So as soon as you started using it, it started glitching. Yeah. So it's possible that Mint is not compatible with it. More likely, Mint chose a bad driver. You know, the installer's doing all that, just like it does with Windows. It's saying, well, I think you have this. I'm going to install that. I think this is where Linux is not as easy to use as Windows or Mac. But that's okay. You're going to learn some.
That's why I was doing this. I wanted to learn that.
You're going to learn. So the first thing is I would Google that laptop specifically and maybe even Linux Mint and see if there's going to be a blog post. Somebody said, well, I tried to install it on my Latitude and it got video glitching, but then I found out if I install this driver, it all worked, and they'll give instructions, that kind of thing. Okay. Other than that, you haven't done any work on it yet. It's also possible that it would work better on another distribution. So you don't have to use Linux Mint. You might try downloading my favorite distribution, which is not based on Debian Ubuntu, but based on Arch. It's called Manjaro, manjaro.org. And
I've heard you talk about Manjaro.
Yeah, so that's another one. You might also try. The one I found that works the best with the widest variety of hardware, ironically, comes from a company called System 76 that sells Linux laptops. And they made their own version of Linux called Pop OS, which is like Mint, a derivative of Ubuntu. If you like the Ubuntu style, if you like the way your Mint works, you haven't had a chance, so you don't know yet. But if you're a Mint fan,
it wasn't too different from Windows.
Yeah,
venture out.
I would just say the easiest thing, do the quick research, but if nothing comes up, the easiest thing would be try another distribution. And the best thing to do, all of these work the same way, just like you did with the Mint. You put it on a USB key and you boot to it. Before you install, run it, play with it, use it. Make sure the trackpad works, the function keys work, the volume up. See that if it works with your hardware. And then you will forestall any problem before you install, just to see if it works. You can run it off the USB key, in other words.
All right.
So that's my suggestion. Did you do that? Did you run Mint before you installed it at all?
I tried to, but he was kind of run a little slow, and I wasn't.
Yeah, my guess is Mint is not ideal for that system. Okay. Try Manjaro. I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about Linux philosophies, but it is more up to date. It's what we call a rolling distribution, so you always get the latest version of everything. And I'm a fan, and I've also found that Manjaro does a very good job of figuring out what hardware you have and providing the right drivers. There's also, the reason I like Arch is a very active community around Arch. So there's a lot more help available for Arch. There's an Arch wiki, and there's the Arch user repository that's very good for third-party software. It's just, I find it a very good ecosystem. That's part of what you're choosing. You want to have a version of Linux that's supported by... The problem with Mint is it tends to be used by novices. You want something that's used by experts because you're going to get more help from an expert than you're going to get from a novice.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm so glad. You know what? I'm really glad you're doing this. This is the perfect thing to do with an old laptop like that Latitude, because it's going to give it new life. And I think once you get over these speed bumps, and they're inevitable, you're going to feel comfortable with Linux. I think you're going to love it. But you let me know.
I'm hoping so. I think so.
Yeah, you let me know. Thanks, Quincy.
All right.
Have a great
Thank
day.
you.
Happy Valentine's Day. Look, most people just want the computer to be a hammer. They just want it a tool. I just want it to work. I don't want to spend time. I don't want a relationship with my computer. And for that, you should probably get, a mainstream operating system. Frankly, I think you should get Chrome OS for most people. Maybe an iPad, maybe Mac. Windows would be lowest on the list there, unless you have an IT department. But if you want just something that just works, get a computer with the software already installed, and it will work. But if you want to understand computing, and if you want to learn, and you want to have fun with it, because it is kind of fun, Linux is it's going to be a challenge. It's for somebody who wants to get his or her hands dirty. And if that's not everybody, I understand. Yeah, Cloud Ready now is going to be much more compatible. It's a Chrome OS that you can install from Neverware, and they just got acquired. When they first came out, I installed Cloud Ready, and I was able to put it on some computers, but not all of them. But they just got acquired by Google, which to me is very good news. It means that they will. I would imagine Cloud Ready will now work. It's based on Linux. It's Chrome OS, but it's based on Linux. Will now work on, or will start to work on, a much broader range of computers. So, yeah, Cloud Ready is a way to put a mainstream operating system on that old PC. I'm such a fan of Linux. I don't know. I'm probably biased. And I'm not, I'm probably the wrong guy to ask, because I've been using it for so long that I'm very comfortable with it. And, when problems happen, it doesn't really throw me. So I'm probably the wrong guy to ask. 8888 Ask Leo. On we go with the show. Bill's on the line from Denver, Colorado. Hello, Bill.
How you doing, Leo?
I'm great. Doing, Leo? How are you?
Good. I'm good. I'm good, except for I'm trying to learn how to use this new phone I got.
Uh-oh, what'd you get?
For my birthday. It's a Samsung Fold 2.
Ooh, you got the fancy one.
5G, yeah.
Oh, happy birthday. Somebody out there likes you.
Yeah, he kind of owed me, my brother.
Oh, what a nice gift from a brother. That's awesome.
With his construction company, I helped him out.
Nice.
Anyway, I got a problem with this thing. Like I said, I'm not tech savvy, and this phone's probably it's a lot of fun, though. I got to tell you that.
It's wild. I have one too. They're very expensive. I'm not going to tell you in case your brother didn't tell you, but that's the most expensive phone on the market today.
Yeah, I mean, I went online and looked it up.
He was very generous.
Go buy a used car for this price.
I know, you could.
I can't. My mobile data won't stay on when I make a phone call. It knocks me off.
Oh, who's your carrier?
AT&T.
So that used to be the case on Verizon and Sprint. Now, with everybody being on LTE, that should not happen. Did he buy it from AT&T, or did he buy it unlocked and you put an AT&T SIM in it?
No, bought it from AT&T.
Okay, so in theory, AT&T set it all up properly to work. Yeah, you should. Yeah, so you're on a phone call and you want to use the browser, for instance, and it doesn't.
There you go.
And it doesn't work.
Won't let me do mobile data. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I'm on, for instance, I've got mobile data on, and I make a call or a call comes in, I'll go back to it and it'll say no internet access. I've got to. For some reason, I can't do them both at the same time. I don't.
That's not okay. That's not supposed to happen. Let's put it that way. There were some networks where it did happen, and like Verizon, and it was this was a drawback to Verizon for a long time, and it was the nature of their network. But when they switched to LTE, that all went away. Of course, you're on LTE now.
Yeah.
In fact, you might be on 5G with that phone. So
exactly, and my old phone worked fine. I could do that, and I don't even.
Yeah, no, there's something wrong. So, there's a couple of things that can happen. Some of it can be your location. If it only happens in a certain area, it could be that the cell tower you're on is having trouble.
Okay.
So I would now. Have you used the AT&T's visual voicemail? Does that work?
That I don't know. I haven't used it yet.
So the first thing you should try.
Okay.
Is this your first Android phone? Are you comfortable with Android?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've had the Samsung 8 and 9. So, and then, I told him I was going to get a new phone. I wasn't expecting him to take me out to Star Trek.
Nice. I know. That's really nice.
Yeah. But, I mean, it does. I mean, when you open it up, I mean, I'll do some charts. I chart my own. I'm a trader. Work for a big company, and
So we should explain for people who don't know what the Fold 2 is. It looks like a normal phone in your pocket, but when you take it out, you open it up. It's a 7-inch. Basically, it's a little mini tablet there, square tablet, and fantastic. Yeah. Everybody's worried about the reliability. I got it when it first came out, and it's been fine. Although the screen protector on the inside started to bubble up, and I peeled it off. Ooh. They say they'll replace it, but I peeled it off. It seems to work okay. So I'm not going to recommend it.
Yeah, and the instruction, it says do not do anything with the
do not mess.
Deal, and it's not like their other Samsungs where you could kick them and drop them in the.
No, this be very gentle.
Don't even get dust on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember on Android if there's a way to reset the data connection, because I feel like that if you reset it, you would tell the phone to reload it from the AT&T network, and it should be fine. You could also honestly bring it to the AT&T store and say, "What's going on, dudes?" And
I called them today. I'm gonna go see them on Monday.
So I think they could probably fix that. This was a problem, as I said, in older.
Yeah.
But it's not. AT&T absolutely does support data and phone calls at the same time. And I think it's conceivable that it's related to the cell tower you're on. Sometimes cell towers lose their data connection. If it doesn't happen except at certain locations, it could be a cell tower issue. I'm looking to see if there's a way to reset the. I'm looking under connections.
Like into connections?
I don't see it though. There is on an iPhone. There's a place you can reset the. Maybe it'll be under system, but see if you can find a way to reset the network, just to refresh it. It's supposed to be able to download that. In fact, I see from time to time. I saw this on my Fold the other day. I'll see a download that says your phone company wants to update your settings. Is that okay? And I'll say okay, and that does happen from time to time. And maybe that'll fix it. Let me see. Mike B in our chat room has sent me a link from the AT&T forums conversations.
Reset network settings. Right?
You found? Yeah, if you see if you can find it. AT&T says restart. If it continues to lose its data connection while on a call, run the device through the AT&T Trouble and Resolve tool. Holy cow. I'll put a link up in the show notes for that one. You have to sign into your account, and then you can do that in their software. Yikes. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Let me see this. Okay, so when you go to the AT&T, in your AT&T account, there is a troubleshooter. Get help with your device. So you might be able to do this directly from your AT&T account, Bill.
So just log in. Do I have to log in on the phone or on my laptop? Either one?
Let me just see what it says.
Probably have to do it on the phone, huh?
There is an instruction on reset. No, I think you do it on your laptop and read up on it. Just go to your AT&T account and look in the troubleshooter, and they have instructions for resetting the phone, but they have other instructions as well. There's going to be something in there. Yeah.
Perfect.
And they'll probably tell you to do that on the phone call anyway when they call you back.
You got it. Thank you much, Leo. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
You got
Enjoy your new phone. Your brother is nice. That is a sweet gift.
Like I said, he owes me. So.
Wow. He must feel like he really owes you. Okay, have a great day. Take care, Bill.
You got it.
All right, bye. Wow. That is a brother. You can't hurry love. But if you haven't yet bought a Valentine's gift, you might want to hurry shopping, okay? You can't hurry love, but you can't hurry shopping. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number. Bruce in Phoenix, Arizona. Hello, Bruce.
Hello. Thank you for taking my call.
Oh, I'm so glad you held on. Thank you for your patience.
Yeah, it wasn't long at all.
Oh, good. What can I do for you?
My problem is I am getting emails in my inbox to not my email address.
Oh.
And I can't, and most of them are coming from like Bruce or addressed to Bruce at AOL.com.
But that's not your AOL email address.
I don't have an AOL.
Let me first of all explain the way email works. Email was designed many moons ago, and it was designed without any eye towards security. They didn't know about spam. They didn't think ahead that there might be spam. And so it's very easy when you send email to forge the sending company. The receiver can't be forged, but it can be hidden with a BCC. You've seen this, blind carbon copy. And the one address that's accurate that you see is the top line address. So in other words, somewhere in that email is your real AOL address. I'm sorry, it's not AOL. Your real address, Bruce. That Bruce at AOL you're seeing, what that tells me is that the spammer is sending emails to every Bruce in their probably very large database of email addresses. And they're all in the blind CC. So you can't see them, but then they put Bruce at AOL.com as the top line. That's what it looks like it's coming to. It does, for an email to work, it does have to have somewhere in there, either in the main to address or in the CC address or in the BCC address, your address has to be there. If you looked at the headers, you know, in email programs, you can look at the headers, which will tell you all sorts of stuff. Your address is in there somewhere. But honestly, Bruce, that's spam. The fact that it's addressed to Bruce at AOL.com pretty much confirms that that's spam. There may be 10,000 other addresses in the BCC stuff. Actually, you can't see the BCC. That's the whole idea. So you can't even see that in the headers. But I guarantee you your address is in there somewhere. But just throw it out. It's junk. Ignore it. And if you keep getting it, you could make a little filter that says if it comes to... You know what? You could say if the to field is anyone at AOL.com, I don't want to see it.
Block it.
Yeah, I don't want to see it.
Can I do that through Google then?
You can do it in Gmail. They call them filters. Yep.
Yep. Okay. I will.
And another tip, the chat room's reminding me, don't open that spam. Just by the fact that we know it's spam because it's Bruce at AOL.com, anything inside it is even potentially dangerous. Certainly worthless, but potentially dangerous. So just don't even open it. Just delete it.
Okay. And I've always understood if you do open it, it sends back an acknowledgement that is a legitimate account.
Exactly. You're giving him a signal. We got a live one here.
I learned something from you. Okay, thank you, Leo.
All right, Bruce.
I set up a filter on Google Mail.
Yeah. The thing is, it's a moving target. They're going to, next it's going to be Chuck at AOL.com. So it's kind of a moving target. Gmail's pretty good about deleting spam, but I notice of late, not perfect. And so you'll get occasional ones like this. You're there somewhere, but probably in the BCC where you can't see him. And now, Bruce number 2 from Barberton, Ohio. Hello, Bruce.
Hello, Leo. Thank you for taking my call, sir. I thought I'd never, ever have to talk to you, but all of a sudden, here we are.
It's nice to know if you need me, I'm here for you.
Oh, it's wonderful. Thank you for what you do. It's wonderful.
Sure, Bruce. What can I do for you?
My daughter's HP notebook has imploded and disconnect from the internet. Yeah, it's a circa 2000 anyway, so we need to.
It's time for a new one. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have a budget of like $500 to $600. Could I get something decent for that?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's on the low side, but hey, money's tight these days. I don't blame you at all. Is she in school?
No, she's working.
You're just a nice dad. You want to help her out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, I love her to death.
Aw, you're gonna make me cry. I would stick with HP. It's funny. HP's gone through some ups and downs. I think the new HP, which is separated from the enterprise, makes excellent PCs. They're even better than ever, and they have a broad range. Most companies, like HP, have a consumer range. It's around $500, and then what they call a pro range that might be $700, $800 to $1,000. And HP's one of those. But honestly, you're going to have such an improvement in performance that I would have no hesitation in looking at an HP. The Envies are fairly inexpensive. They have a variety of prices depending on the size of the screen. You could probably get something very similar to what she had, only a lot faster, for about $500. I would look at the Envies. That's where I'd probably start. I think they're really, really good. They have more business style, and the least expensive, and maybe this would be better price for you, is the Pavilion. They have a Pavilion 13 and a Pavilion 15, depending on the size she wants, around $500. So I think those are going to be a very good choice for her. The key, you want at least 8 gigs of RAM. For $629, you can get 8 gigs of RAM and a half terabyte of storage. With I think the AMD Ryzen processor and the Radeon graphics, those are very, very good. If that's still out of your price range, the Ryzen 7 with Radeon graphics, 8 gigs, and a smaller hard drive is $509. How big a hard drive she needs will really depend on what she's doing with the computer. And she can always get an external drive to supplement.
Yeah, okay. It's just the usual thing. It's nothing fancy, nothing complicated.
Yeah. Take a look at the Pavilion. That's not complicated nor fancy. And I think they're very nice machines.
Okay, now is it
check your big box store too, because a lot of times the Best Buys or the Costco's rather and the Sam's Clubs have really good prices on HP laptops.
Okay, well, if it would be possible to transfer all the information.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's
they'll let me.
Hold on a second. There's a migration assistant when you first start it up. That'll automatically get all the data from the old computer. You'll connect the two of them, and it'll copy it over. It'll be very simple, and that's the way I would do it, rather than any kind of attempting to copy everything. And keep the old computer around for a while just to make sure you've got everything you want.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Leo.
Hey, my pleasure. I'm glad you called, Bruce.
Okay, wish everybody there happy Valentine's Day. Huh?
Same to you. Same to you. I got to get going here. Get something for my wife.
Okay.
I'm going to run out the door. All right, Bruce. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Hello, Dickie D.
Hey, Leo. How you doing?
I am good. How are you?
I'm good, too. Thank you.
What's up in your world? Is it springy yet?
Just
spring?
Cold.
No spring yet? I always hated February back east. It's because it's like you're done with winter now, and it's slushy and cold and icky.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we've seen above freezing for 3 days now.
Oy. Well, you heard, I was talking to this guy who's a weatherman in Nebraska. He says the coldest it's ever been. I think it was like 30 below or something. It was like crazy.
Oh, my gosh.
I know. Here we go. I will survive, ladies and gentlemen. The disco indicates the appearance of our gizmo wizard, Dick DeBartolo. He is our Giz Whiz. Hello, Dickie D.
Leo, how you doing, pal?
I am well. How are you?
I am cold but good.
Yeah. What is it? It's not 30 below.
No, it's just like 17.
It's not Nebraska
I heard your caller there.
Our weatherman. Yeah, wow.
Well, you would think the weatherman would have a little bit of clout with Mother Nature.
Apparently not.
Yeah. Apparently
not. So Dick joins us every week because he is an avid gizmo fan, and he collects the most interesting gizmos out there and brings them to us and World News Now and other places. What have you found for me this week?
Well, this is for you to judge. Okay, so last week I talked about the mini little induction cooktop.
Yes.
From a show called Food Tech. But at Food Tech, I saw the Anova Precision Oven.
Now, I have.
Do you know about Anova?
I do. I have an Anova immersion sous vide circulator.
Yes.
So I love sous vide cooking. It allows me to make perfect steaks, perfect chicken every time. A sous vide soft-boiled egg is the best thing you've ever had. And Anova makes this thing. You put it in a tub of water, and it keeps it exactly at the proper temperature for sous videing. So
exactly.
What are they doing now?
For years I thought I was sous vide cooking, and then my spouse Dennis said, boil and bag vegetables is not sous vide cooking.
No.
Who knew?
No,
Who
it's similar
knew?
but different.
It's similar.
Yeah.
All right. So what Anova has done, maybe you'll be very interested in this. They came out with an oven that can kind of duplicate sous vide cooking.
What?
In the cooktop oven. Because I think the guy said it was a 1.2 gallon water reservoir at the side of the oven.
I see that. So it
okay,
looks like a coffee maker merged with a microwave. It's some strange.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they said that, they put the food probe into the food, but it gets the effect of sous vide cooking, but 50% faster because you can vary the temperature.
It's got a wet bulb thermometer. And if you remember your high school chemistry class, you will remember the wet bulb temperature. It's the lowest temperature that can be reached under current ambient conditions by the evaporation of water only. So somehow they're using this water reservoir to measure the temperature of the oven. See, I think these guys actually come out of a chemistry lab. I think that's the story, really.
It could be.
Yeah.
It could be, but it seemed pretty interesting.
Are you steaming? What are you?
Yes.
You're steaming.
What I know, yes, you're steaming, because they also were mentioning that if you're making bread, you are helping steam the bread so you get really high rising bread.
People don't know this, but good baking, you often steam at first, and then to get the crust, you dry cook. So I cook in a device, a clay pot, and then towards the end, I'll take the lid off the pot, and that way you get the best of both worlds. And commercial bakers actually have little injectors. They put steam into the oven. So that's very interesting. I'm actually very intrigued by this.
Oh, okay. Well,
yes.
Now you want to guess at the
like
price?
my bulbs wet. Well,
I'm different with baking. When something comes out and it's totally burned, then I'm steamed. So it's a totally
different kind
process.
of steam.
Yes.
I bought a crazy oven, the June oven, which was an internet-connected oven. It's now just a few $100s, but when I bought it, it was over $1,000. So I'm gonna guess this is the first. It's going to be about $1,000.
Oh well, okay. No, it's $590. It's $600.
$600. That's not bad.
And they've started shipping them in orders. For example, their batch 9 has been shipped out, and batch 10, which is going to ship at the end of February.
This is a very odd product. Does it bake regularly too, or is it only in steam?
I believe you can bake and do. I didn't ask the guy a lot of questions. I also like the idea that the pull handle has the digital info on it.
Oh.
So that I believe that probably gives you a little more oven space, because you don't need to use the top of the oven for the digital
the thing
readout.
That's most interesting to me is that they can be hyper accurate in the temperature. That's what they do with their water circulator. That's pretty interesting. So that because my oven, I don't know what temperature I'm getting.
No, he was saying that a regular oven can vary like 60%.
Yeah,
during the cycle, and these ovens will not do that.
I'm going to check this out. I don't know if I'm going to buy. I don't know if Lisa will let me buy
that's okay. I thought you should just know about it. So when you get really angry and throw your June oven out the window, you have a backup.
See, the problem is I can't make toast in this thing. So it would be good for baking
but it's
bread.
Very wet toast.
Yes, it'd be good for baking bread. And they say you can roast a turkey or a chicken in it and that kind of thing. You can make bagels because you steam them and then you bake them. That's interesting.
And it's still Wi-Fi enabled, but no camera.
No camera? Well, how can? That's the best part of my June oven.
When you told me about that, I thought, oh my God.
I can log into my account at June and see this morning's toast cooking. They have a recording of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy. Okay, so if you want to know more about this, the best thing to do is go to Dick's website because he's got all this. The trick is go to gizwiz.biz, gizwiz.biz, and then you'll see on the right-hand side a column of buttons. There's one that says the GizWiz visits the tech guy. That's me. That's this. Click that, and you'll see all of the things he's mentioned. But right at the top there is this Anova oven. You can also see other things he's recommended on World News Now and other places. There's lots of other things, including the What the Heck Is It contest, which is Dick's chance to get you an autographed copy. I've got one right over here just as a sample, an autographed copy of Mad Magazine, and Dick autographs it himself, personally.
Wow.
Wow. So it's a close-up. You're going to see a close-up picture of a gizmo or a gadget. You have till the end of this month, so not much longer, 2 weeks to identify it. Don't worry, there are more Mad Magazines for the best wrong answers than there are for the best right answers. Yeah. So, it's not whether you know what it is, it's how clever you are guessing. Gizwiz.biz, there's lots of other things there, including he sells his books. He has match game questions because he was the writer on the match game, all sorts of stuff. Gizwiz.biz. Gizwiz.tv is the podcast he does, where there's a lot more of this kind of wacky stuff. Do you do everything that you've done on this show? Do you do that also on the podcast, or is there overlap?
Not everything. There's some things I think you might be more interested in.
Chad Light has a different sense than I do. Your co-host on that.
Well, we both do. We try for really bizarre
silly
stuff,
bizarre,
exactly.
Weird.
Exactly.
Like he doesn't do weird stuff here. Dick, stay warm. I know it's cold in New York City.
You too.
Disneyland.
And happy Valentine's Day. Do you have a Valentine picked out? I assume you do.
I have. During the show, I've been researching, and I'm gonna run out the door and hope it's not too late.
Oh, okay.
Yes, the swizzle stick with the heart on it, I think, is going to be.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. And an LED light.
Yes. How about you? You got a Valentine pick? You guys have been together for how long?
Absolutely.
How long?
We've been together we met 40 years ago, and
40?
We've been married for 8.
But that's only because you couldn't get married until recently.
Yeah, exactly.
But 40 years, there's still a little pit-a-pat going on in your heart?
Yeah, the bathtub overflows, and I say, Dennis, can you stop that?
Thank you, Dickie D.
Okay, buddy. See you next week.
Have a great week. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. Have a great Geek Week. Well, that's it for the Tech Guy Show for today. Thank you so much for being here. And don't forget, TWiT, T-W-I-T. It stands for This Week in Tech, and you'll find it at twit.tv, including the podcasts for this show. We talk about Windows on Windows Weekly, Macintosh on MacBreak Weekly, iPads, iPhones, Apple Watches on iOS Today, security on Security Now. I mean, I can go on and on and on. And, of course, the big show every Sunday afternoon, This Week in Tech. You'll find it all at twit.tv. And I'll be back next week with another great Tech Guys show. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time.